Okay, Microsoft Exchange. So Microsoft Exchange we discussed earlier. So that's heavily obviously embedded into your Office 365 subscription as well. So when you're managing mailboxes in Office 365, Exchange plays a key role in provisioning mailboxes because you will need your mailboxes. You'll need to set up your server-side synchronization for your user mailboxes, because one of the scenarios that you would have in a customer service environment is you will have queues, right? Now, there's various types of queues you can set up. But one of the types of queues is an actual email queue, which can be used to receive emails from your customer service. So you can set up these mailbox accounts, which receives emails, and those email queues can be routed to Teams, and so Teams can pick up those emails. They can also be routed using routing rules, which we'll discuss later. But there is a very important step to do when you're configuring your Dynamics 365 environment, is to set up that email Exchange server-side synchronization, and that also includes the email tracking as well. So we talked about Azure provisioning. We talked about getting an Office 365 subscription set up. We talked about the important role that your Exchange configuration will play. Next, Power Platform, right? So Power Platform has many components that's used and incorporated in customer services. Obviously, Power Automate Flows will be used for your workflow automation, but Power Apps is essentially what you're using when you're using your customer service, Dynamics 365 customer service application. That's a model-driven Power App. The difference between a custom Power App is a Dynamics 365 customer service Power App is the IP that's owned by Dynamics, whereas other Power Apps are an IP that's probably owned by you because you've created that Power App, right? And then obviously you've got Power FX. We're not going to go too much into detail with Power FX, but I wanted to give it a shout out because the low code framework for business logic is being more and more owned now by the Power FX framework versus the previous JavaScript and .NET runtime libraries. Now, an important one is Power Pages for customer self-service, and we have a whole session on that later on today for customer self-service portals. Those are some of the key artifacts and services provisioned by Power Platform. Now, the important one that we very cognizant of is coming up now. So we've discussed the Power Platform components. An important key artifact of the Power Platform service is none other than Dataverse. So we've got Dataverse, which is basically the database service. That is what. Sorry, guys, keep on skipping. It's a very complex presentation that I've constructed. So okay, about the Dataverse. So Dataverse is what hosts your metadata and customizations and all your customer data, and it basically hosts everything behind Dynamics 365 customer services. Now, an important thing to be aware about the Dataverse is the different database storage types, but we won't go into too much detail into them today because we covered that last week. But what is important, following data structures, because as part of natively, you will have some core data, metadata components that are inherited as part of the Dataverse to be able to build Power Apps. So things like contacts, accounts, you've got meetings, you've got activities, you've got business units, you've got teams. Activities are things like tasks, emails, meetings. All of those are included as standard for any Dataverse implementation. So why do we need customer service? Well, basically, it's because there is some additional things that's included in customer service which you need to be aware of. So imagine now normally when you're implementing customer service, it's usually in addition to other applications such as Dynamics 365 Sales, for example. That's no longer the case because with the contact center implementation, you do not need that. And we'll be covering that later on today. But for many of the people who are familiar with Dynamics, often Sales is usually the core application that's installed on top of the Dataverse, and it's the core CRM that's being used to manage your customers. And that will include all the sales related pipelines and data objects, which we covered last week. However, what today is customer service. Okay, so service features, this is what I want to spend some time to kind of dwell on and to explain to you how it all hangs together. So once you install the Dynamics 365 customer service application into your environment, it will install all those assets on your Dataverse database, right? So all these tables that you can see related to cases, which is known as the incident entity. You've got knowledge bases, you've got contracts, you've got resources, skills, bookings, and then you've got all the voice channels, right? So cases and knowledge bases are regarded as these are very, very these entities are specific to customer services, and you do need in order to interact with those tables, you do need the customer service license. However, the other tables, not so much. So salespeople and other Power Apps users can interact with those tables. Now, the customer service case management features, which we're going to go on to immediately after this session, in addition to those case management features, which was primarily just a model-driven app previously, plus you would have some capabilities of integrating with IVRs and telephony systems, right? Typically, that's what customer service was as an application for, like, 15 years or so. That's basically what it was. It was basically just a glorified case management system. However, things have changed in the past few years with omnichannel. Omnichannel is truly the game changer when it comes to Dynamics 365 customer services, because there are people out there that are building their own customer service Power Apps, for example, right? But what really makes Dynamics 365 customer service shine is omnichannel and the channels that we'll be discussing today. So these channels, the voice channel, the SMS channel, the chat, right, the social channels, self-service capability, the omni-channel routing, the AI capabilities. It's these features that truly make Dynamics 365 customer service a complete case management, customer service, contact center solution. And we'll be spending a lot of time today covering those, in addition to the core fundamentals behind customer service. Now, the important thing you need to be aware of from a technical architecture perspective is, for those who worked with Dynamics in the past, deployments were quite straightforward because it was just Dataverse objects, tables that you were working with, model-driven apps, workflows. That was what case management was. But now, with the contact center solution, with the customer service solution, is a lot more than that. You're working with a lot more Azure artifacts and assets and services. What are these services? It's the Azure communication services for voice. The chat is still very much using the technology behind what was previously known as virtual agents, right? And so that uses a combination of portals as well as Azure services. SMS, again, Azure communication services. Social, that would use a hybrid of integrations. So these components have heavy dependencies on Azure communication services, and that's hooked up through the Dynamics 365 application implementation in the back end. What does that mean? Well, that means when you're doing deployments, for example, previously you could copy an environment and you'd be able to then, spin up an environment very easily from a copy. That's no longer straightforward anymore. You can't really do that. You have to re-provision when you're installing a Dynamics 365 customer services. You have to re-provision those services. So you have to go into your environment center and you have to, from the administration center, provision from the licenses available in your environment, provision those services, right? These services have to provision for them to be actually functioning services in your Dynamics 365 environments. Otherwise, you end up with an installation of just app, but the services don't work. You're probably wondering, why isn't your voice channels working? Why isn't your chats working? It's because of the way those Azure services needed to provision. Now, this has thrown a lot of traditional Dynamics 365 customer service or Dynamics consultants off. People who've been working in Dynamics for over 10 years, these consultants are actually perplexed by this, right? Because it's new to them. It's a new world, and it's a new world that we're entering when it comes to Microsoft's ecosystem. So this was an important area that I wanted to make sure everyone familiar with before we jump to the next section now. Okay, so Dynamics 365 customer service, what is it? So fundamentally, obviously, everything revolves around case management. So in the center is the case entity, and then everything revolves around that. Now, routing, what's the mechanics behind routing the communications, the cases to cases? Obviously, you've got your traditional ways of routing. We discussed that earlier through using queues, and you can use various mechanisms to route that. But there's also unified routing, which is the new mechanism. Well, it's not that new. Unified routing's been around for a while now. But what we're finding is that with the contact center, it leverages those routing rules a lot more as part of its native skills-based routing. So you have that unified routing capability to now route your cases and your jobs a lot more intelligently than before. With skills-based routing, assignment rules, work streams that are associated to the various channels, right? So you also have agent profiles and customer service workspaces, which provides you. So many of you, I don't know how many people on this call have worked with Unified Service Desk. It's something that I was involved with very early on in my career as the contact management solution. It was a Windows-based application that would integrate with Dynamics. And the reason why people used that service was because it provided the ability for agents to work with multiple customers at the same time, to be able to handle multiple calls, to be able to work through them by distributing the workload across multiple tabs. Because that's the nature of customer service, is that you're often working on multiple cases at a given time, and you need to be able to navigate between the customers that you're working with. Now, with Dynamics 365 customer service omni-channel, which is now the contact center, it's provided that capabilities on the web, which is massive. It's a huge achievement. We were waiting for years for this feature, and now it's native as part of a web application. People never thought to see this coming, and it's here, right? And so that experience, and we'll be going through that experience again in the sessions later on today on how that experience works. But essentially, it uses agent profiles and scripts to provide a very customer bespoke experience for all your various agents. So it provides custom screen layouts, custom routing rules to route cases, and these communication channels to your agents. SLAs have been around for a long time, and that provides the native capability to provide your time, to honor your actual time agreements with your customers. And often this is associated to the contract management features in customer service. And honor the KPIs in a lot more slicker fashion than trying to build it yourself. Service scheduling and resource management, resource groups, these kind of extend this traditional customer service far wider to really allowing you to book specific resources. And resources are not just engineers, but it's also actual physical resources to be able to resolve those issues. So in addition to that, you have the CTI integration. Now, the channel integration framework is a panel within inside of the interface, and it allows you to embed third-party telephony providers, because prior to this product, prior to Dynamics 365 Contact Center and Omnichannel, there were many third-party providers that provided that service. And so the channel integration framework, it does work. This product does work with third-party telephony providers, right? So Genesis is a very popular one. There's other products out there that have also integrated with Dynamics 365 customer service. And it may be that's a service that they're already using. So if you're a customer, you already as a telephony service provider, you can use that. You don't have to use Microsoft's voice channel, right? But there are constraints though. So with the CTI integrations, for example, so there was channel integration for version 1, and then there's version 2. Version 2 has more highly integrated chat voice integrations, more superior integrations than channel integration version 1. So ideally, you'll be using 2.0 with your third-party providers, but please be aware you do lose a lot of functionality. You might get the voice integration, but what you might lose out on is some of the telemetry related to the voice communications. You might need to access recordings, and you might need to see the text output, the transcription of those chats. And so it depends on the richness of the integration, but you might end up missing out on some of that. Just want to call it. Knowledge base is another important feature that's used. It's very useful in the self-service scenario, so customers can solve their own challenges and questions. So when you expose the case management through the customer service power pages, right? IoT integration, so via the IoT hub and self-service co-pilots as well, we'll be covering throughout the day. So one thing to mention is the omni-channel. Obviously, you've got the voice channels, the chat, SMS. You've got the social integration channels when it comes to, for example, Facebook Business and Google, and WhatsApp. That is another new one. Entity routing is obviously part of the unified routing to be able to route any entity. That's just generally part of the unified routing, which you get as part of your customer service license, where you can schedule any entity. And then emails we already discussed earlier on. So that's a very high level overview of the customer service features that we're going to be going over today. An important thing to mention here, guys, is around the variations in the licenses, because with enterprise, there are limitations with professional when you're working with this implementation. Often customers get perplexed by this, but it's very important to be aware that if you are implementing professional, there is a very important, one of the most important limitations on the number of forms you can actually customize on an entity. That is an important limitation you need to be very, very aware of, because in most implementations, 2 forms is not enough, right? You would definitely need enterprise in that scenario, as well as the number of custom entities that you can implement, as well as the Power Platform use rights, seeded use rights. Another one to be aware of is for enterprise, you get a lot more server tenant level API limits as well. Okay, so so I don't want to talk too much about licensing and cost, because that's all changing as we speak. But without further ado, I've kind of overrun my time, guys. So I'm going to introduce the next speaker who's going to go more into detail in implementing customer service, and it's no other than Arpit Shrivastava. So round of applause for Arpit, guys, as we get him enabled. Hello there, Arpit.
Hi, Rasai, how are you?
Hey, Arpit. So for those who are not aware, Arpit, by the way, feel free to share your screen. I'm going to stop sharing now. So for those who don't know who Arpit is, he's a Microsoft MVP and MCT. He's also the author of the Power Apps Cookbook. Arpit will be sharing more information about that. He's also a Power Community Ambassador. He's been involved for a very long time. He's been involved in some of the large Dynamics 365 customer service implementations for some of the biggest Microsoft case studies, including IKEA. But without talking too much, I'll let Arpit share more about what he's been doing. So without further ado, guys, over to you, Arpit.
Hey, thank you, Ras. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Arpit here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from wherever time zone you are joining this event. I just wanted to thank Ras for the wonderful introduction. I just wanted to thank for having me in this Dynamic 365 Bootcamp, where for the next 3 months, we're going to discuss about all the fundamentals, all the advanced and the complex process of the Dynamic 365. So, in next 1 hour, I'm going to discuss about the Dynamic 365 customer service configuration and the fundamentals. I've been working with the Dynamic 365 from past almost 15 years. I started my career as a Dynamic 365 developer. So I have worked on the development side, I worked on the functional side, and then currently I'm working as an architecture in the Power Platform. So I just wanted to discuss about the fundamentals of the Dynamic 365 customer service. So without further ado, let me give a quick introduction about me. My name is Arpit Srivastav, and I'm the 4 times Microsoft MVP awarded, and I'm the Microsoft certified trainer as well. I am currently working as a Power Platform expert and the architect in Capgemini, Sweden. And I have written the book recently, which is published in July 2024. That is Learning Microsoft Power Apps. And if you are looking to, if you wanted to learn everything about the Microsoft Power Apps from, fundamentals to all the latest advanced topics, including the Copilot AI and everything, then this book is the best for you. So I have covered all the things related to model-driven app, Canvas app, Power Pages, and the AI related stuff as well. Okay. And if you wanted to connect with me through offline or through online channel, then you can find me on the internet called Arpit Power Guide. I'm been sharing a lot of interesting stuff on my YouTube channel or my website as well. All right. So if I talk about the today's agenda, I'm going to discuss about first the introduction of Dynamic 365 customer service, where I'll talk about what is Dynamic 365 customer service, what are the different types of apps that we have, and what are the significance of those each app. And then gonna discuss about the case management process. So that is the core process of the Dynamic 365 customer service, where we going to discuss about what is case, what is incident, what are the different kind of ways or the channel through which you can create the case and create the incident in the Dynamic 365, how you can manage the knowledge management to improve the case management process, and how the Power Platform can boost the customer service experiences. And I have some demos for you. So between the slide deck also, I can demonstrate a few of the features in the Dynamic 365 live instance as well. All right. Now, if I talk about the Dynamic 365 customer service, as you know, like if you ever worked on the earlier version of the Dynamic CRM, it started with the three modules: sales, service, and the marketing, right? And service is one of the core module where which is actually provide the service after the after you are purchasing the product. So basically, in the real life, there are many scenarios where you need to deal with the customer services. You need to address or solve the customer or the product issues. You receive and answering the customer questions, you collecting and applying the customer feedback, or you need to have the product proactive support. So it could be the issues related to the products that you have purchased from a particular company. It could be a basic questions or the queries, or it could be the feedback. Okay. So the customer service can be related to the anything. Now, Microsoft has provided Dynamics 365 customer service, and they have provided many apps, and each apps has their own significance and their own target users. Okay, so they have provided customer service workspace, and that is the core feature that it provides is the case management, the conversations, and the dashboards. And the target user for this kind of app is the customer service representative. We also call it as CSR. Okay. And the channel, if I talk about it, is the device compatibility provide for the desktop app and the mobile app. Okay. Customer Service Hub, that is a second app, and this basically provides the feature of the case management. So case management feature will remain same across all the apps because that is the core feature, as I already said. Knowledge articles, dashboards, multi-session support. So that is the features that this app provide, and it is basically for the service representatives and the service managers. Okay. And there is another app called Customer Service Team Member, and this also provides the case management, conversation, multi-session support, and it is basically for the frontline agents and the support staff. One which is basically used for the administrator, so to enable or disable many features. So soon we are going to have a look into it, like what are the different features that you can simply enable and disable to improve the customer service capability. So for example, like unified routing, case routing, queues management, knowledge articles, various channels you can enable and disable the teams integrations. You can also use the co-pilot features. So there are many AI related features are there. So these all the features can be controlled by the administrators or the managers. So this app is dedicatedly provided, the customer service admin app is dedicatedly provided for the administrators. Okay. And omni-channel for customer service, as Raj also said, like this has been deprecated now. So the new the customer service experience that Microsoft nowadays has provided is called the customer service contact center. So as you know, like in the earlier days, the customer service app used to have only limited features. It has the features basically related to the service related, the case management related features like case management, knowledge management, SLAs, entitlements, unified routing, and all. But then later on, Microsoft introduced some digital, channels integrations with the customer service that we used to call it omni-channel integration, where we used to have many channels we can integrate with the customer service, like the Power Virtual Agents, the live human agent chat integrations, and then we have the calling features, video call, screen share. So these all the kind of features, WhatsApp integration, Facebook integration. So these all the features we used to have in the Omni channel, but now Microsoft has uh, uh, combined all the customer service, Omni channel, and all the AI related features, the generative AI related feature, and created a brand new app that is called Customer Service Contact Center. So in the upcoming sessions, you will get to know more about the Customer Service Contact Center app. I'm going to focus more on the fundamentals of the customer service. All right. Now, if I talk about, the next topic, that is the whole process, how the dynamic 365 customer service looks like. So this is how the process of the customer service in the dynamic 365 looks like from beginning to end. Okay. So being a customer, if you purchase something from a company, then you can contact that company, or you can get the services from the company through the various channel. You can communicate with them. You can communicate with them through the emails, through the phone call, chat, or you can interact with them through the self-service portals as well. All right. And there is some kind of contract is also associated with that. So I think we're going to have one detailed session on the SLA and the entitlement during the day. But each customer who is purchasing the product from the company is entitled with a particular contract. Imagine that contract is, you can have, you can only create the 15 cases or the tickets. So this is kind of entitlement the customer is associated with. So once the customer create a ticket, or you can call it as a case, that also can be created automatically or the manually. It's up to the configuration that we are doing in the Dynamic 365. Then the case gets created and it's routed to the best queue based on the customer type. So we have got many component of the features in the customer service that we're going to have a look into it. And based on that, you can auto route the case. So for example, sometimes you need to auto route the case based on the customer type. For example, they are the gold customer or the premium customer, or if the cases are the high priority cases. So based on the different conditions, or the customer type, you sometimes wants to prioritize that case. So based on that, you have the queues available in the customer service. And then the agents comes to the picture, the call center agents, they pick up the case from the queue, and they start working on that. So basically the whole process to resolve that case consists of three steps: identify, research, and resolve. So identify is basically the process where agent pick up the case based on their expertise. They research. Research means they find the resolution of that case. and that could be based on the knowledge articles, the FAQs that they have available in the Dataverse, or they can use the Copilot AI features that we have, the new features as of now in the Dynamic 365, and based on that they will provide the resolution. Sometimes the agents are not able to close the case by themselves, so they can escalate the case to the level 2 or the level 3 support team, and once they resolve this case, and then so the final step, they resolve the case. So this case resolution basically comes with the entitlement, as I said, like 15 cases. And once this entitlement is the case is resolved, your case gets subtracted by one, like 14 case remaining, right? So I'm going to discuss about the configuration that as well, like how you can do the entitlement, the SLAs and everything, so that it automatically reduces the number of cases that you are going to reduces. Okay. So this is how the whole customer service process looks like. Now, what are the different ways to create the customer service request in the Dynamic 365? So there could be different ways, like the mobile devices, the social media, the self-service capabilities. As you know, like we have the Power Pages, the portals available through which you can provide the self-service capabilities. You can create the case, the ticket through the social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, or the WhatsApp. Mobile devices, Internet of Things. As you know, like a lot of devices are nowadays connected with the internet. So sometimes you want to auto alert or auto create the cases in that case, and the customer engagement. So there are different ways you can create the customer service in the Dynamic 365. There are core components of the customer service. The first is your customers. So customers are nothing. They are the company, they are the organization, or the person that is services performed for. Okay. So sometimes you are providing the service or the customer support for a particular company, or sometimes you provide the customer support for the individuals. Okay. Case is the fundamental record type. Basically, it is the data which hold the information about the service request, and this could be the request, this could be the feedback, this could be the query, anything. Third is the activity. Now, this activity basically is the interaction between a business and the customer. So whatever interaction you are doing with the, your customer. So for example, this could be the chat, this could be the email, this could be, the phone call. So whatever interaction you are doing with your customer is basically the part of your activity. So we are going to discuss about that. So in the Dataverse, they are nothing but the tables where you are actually storing this information. Entitlement, as I talked about, entitlement and service level agreement comes together. So entitlement is nothing, it's just a kind of the contract or the warranty kind of thing. So amount of support a customer is entitled to, it's kind of support kind of contract. Okay. Service level agreement is the level of service that has been agreed with the customer. For example, if the high priority ticket has been raised, then it should be the resolve in a particular limit of time. For example, 1 hour or the 2 hour, and you have experienced that whenever you raise a ticket with the Microsoft with the level 1 or the high priority, they will provide you the support within 1 hour. Or if you are raising a B priority ticket, then you expect the resolution within particular duration of time. So this is the service level agreement in the Dynamics 365 customer service, and it is associated with the entitlement. It's a kind of support. Okay. The knowledge base is nothing. It's just the internal repository within the customer service, where you create a lot of articles, and based on that, you basically you can find the information to resolve the cases. Okay. And nowadays we have the Copilot integration as well. So you are not only limited to find the information about a particular incident within the Dataverse or within the knowledge base, but you can also find that information outside the Dataverse. I mean, you can search on the internet through the Copilot, right? So because it provides the Bing search capabilities. You have the queues, and that basically used to manage the workload for the case and the activity. So sometimes Queue is helping you to organize your work. For example, like high priority cases should be handled by a particular customer self-service agents, and the low priority cases are being handled by a different set of agents. In the similar way, if you have the gold customer, the premium customer, you take it, you want to take that as a priority by the separate customer call center agents. So in this way, you can create a different queues in the Dataverse, and then you can add the item inside that, and then the agents can pick up the items from the queue and they can start working on that. So we can quickly discuss about that when we have the live demo of it. Okay, assets sometimes being a call center agents or being a support agents, you need to visit a particular site to provide the assistance. So in this case, it basically represent the item or the customer location that the service is provided. As you know, like there are different kinds of services you can provide. You can provide the services on the customer location as well, and that is called the field service. That is one of the kind of service that is also part of. Right, so these are the core component of the customer service. Now, how you do the case management? So case management is basically the core process of the Dynamics 365 customer service, and we're going to discuss about quickly what are the different components of it, and then I'll show you the demo as well, like how the case management looks like, how you manage the case, how you can auto route the case, how you can automatically create the case, what are the different channels you can use to create the cases. All right. So let's quickly discuss about the case. So as I already said, like case is nothing. It's just a table in the Dynamics 365 customer service app where you can store the information about the customer questions if they are raising a question related to a particular product or any services, or it could be any issues, or it could be the feedback. So there could be different type of case. So basically, this is nothing, it's just a case type, and there are different other columns you also get when you start creating a case in the Dataverse. Okay. Now, this is how the end-to-end case management process looks like in the Dynamics 365 customer service. So imagine you have a premium or the gold customer who is raising a ticket, and he or she can use any of the channel to create the case. So you can have the different channels available, as I already told you, and then case automatically created in the Dataverse or in the app. And then if this customer is the gold customer or the premium customer, then we have the SLA, the service level agreement, that we have to provide the response within 15 minutes. And within 15 minutes, the agent who is assigned to this particular gold queue, so there is a dedicated queue who is taking care of all the gold customer cases, they will pick up the case, they will search the details in the knowledge article, they will resolve the case. Okay. And by doing that, the contract in the contract, it was entitled that you can provide the support for that particular customer for 15 case. Now it got reduced to the 14 case because you have already resolved that. Okay, so this is how the whole entitlement, SLA, or the queue or the auto creation of the case looks like whenever you do the case management in the Dynamics 365. Okay. Well, this is how the manual case creation looks like. I'm going to discuss that about as well. So I don't want to spend much time that how you can create the new case manually. But there are different other ways as well how you can create the case. You can simply go to the case table and directly create the case, but you can also create the case directly from the activities. As I said, like you have the different types of activities like appointment, email, fax, letters, and sometimes let's say you get the email or you get the phone call from your customer, and you see like customer is complaining about the product and something, and instead of just going to the case table and creating the case, you can directly convert that particular activity to the case. So as you can see here, I have the option called convert to. So you can go to the particular activity and can directly convert to a case. All right. So this is also a way how you can automatically create the case. There are different types of channel, as I already discussed about in the case, like phone call, email, web, Facebook, Twitter, that you can select to differentiate the case type. And this is how you can automate also creation of the case. So this is, I'm going to demonstrate that as well. Like we have the components called automation of create and the update of record. Using that, you can automatically create the case as well, because sometimes imagine you get the issues or the high priority issues from the premium customer, and you don't want to spend time on create the case manually. So instead of doing that, you want to automatically create the case. So we have the component in the dynamic 365 case service. Using that, you can write your logic there, and it will automatically convert your activity and automatically create the case in the Dataverse. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate that as well. So this feature is called record creation and update rules. Okay. And related to the case management, we have the case hierarchy as well, because sometimes um, you know the customer that belongs to a particular organization or a company, the multiple customer can have the same issues. Okay, so you can simply combine those case, and you can combine all those child cases to the parent case. So first case you can create as a parent, but the rest of the cases which is also related to the same problem, you can link those as a child case, so that you can you can have the parent child relationship all the case. So advantage of doing this, you can have the hierarchy of the cases. You don't need to create the duplicate cases related to the same problem. And you can also restrict that if the parent or if all the child cases are closed, then only the parent cases will be closed, right? So this kind of restrictions you can also provide. There is one more feature in the case management that is called the case merging. Sometimes you feel like two different cases, but they are related to the same customer, or they are related to the same contacts of the same account. Or sometimes you feel like the two cases are about the same problem. So you can simply select those cases and merge it as well. So this is also a feature where basically helps you to remove the redundant data from your database. Okay. All right, so then we have the service queues. I'm going to discuss about the queues and one more feature. Then I'm going to demonstrate all of the feature together, so that you will have the high level understanding of all the components. So the third component that we have in the case management is the service queues. So as I said, like the queues are basically used to manage your work properly, so that the customers, or sorry, the agents can pick up the items from the queue. Or you also use the queues to distinguish the work item as well. So for example, you can see, like, you can have the different kind of customers. Sometimes some of the customers you distinguish based on the premium customer or the normal customer. Sometimes you distinguish the customer based on the issues they are raising, like the high priority issues or the low priority issues. And based on that, you can create the different queues. So for example, like in this diagram, you can see we have the gold customer, we have the silver customers, and we have the normal customers. Okay. And we want, like, the gold customer should be all the issues or all the feedback or whatever the tickets they are raising through the different channels. It should first go to the queue, and there is a dedicated agents who is working on those queues, and they will pick up those items and can start working on that. So this is basically how you can organize your work. And there are different kinds of queues we have. There is a public queue, and these queues are basically visible to whole organizations. Private queues are basically visible only to the users or the members who are designated as a queue member. So whenever you create a queue, we are going to have a look into it in a while. Whenever you create a queue, you add a member to it. Okay. So private queue means if you are the member of a queue, then you can access the item of that queue. Personal means sometimes the queues are associated with a specific user or a team and are visible only to that specific user. Okay. Now this is how the queue process works. So for example, if any customer contacting the call center support through the phone, and they are the gold customer. So it automatically goes to the specific queue called gold queue. The agents who is part of that or is the member of the gold queue will pick up the case, and then it can move that particular queue to the personal queue as well, or he can start working on that. And then there are different component in the queue. The first is the pick. So these are the different options that we have. Let me quickly show that the first one is the pick. Pick is basically the option where you, when an agent pick up the item from the queue. Remove is basically the feature where you remove the item from the queue. Release is the option where if someone is working on, if some of the agent is working on a queue, they can put the item back on the queue for the another agent to pick up. Because sometimes if you're working on a particular item and you have already picked up the item from the queue, someone else cannot pick that up. So there are basically three ways, to manage the queue items: pick, remove, and the release. All right. So I was also talking about the queues features. So whatever tables enabled for the queues, so all the out-of-box tables like cases and the activities are enabled for queue. So if you have this the settings enable on a table label, then only you will be able to add the item to a queue. Okay, so if you are creating a custom table, you need to ensure that this item is checked. Okay. All right. Now, the next feature of the case management is the record automation. Okay. So record automation is basically the process where I will rather demonstrate that feature instead of showing that in the slide deck. So record automation is basically a feature where sometimes you need to automatically create the data in the Dataverse based on some of the condition. Okay. So let me skip this part and okay, knowledge article, I will come to that part later. Let me quickly show you the case management part first. Okay, so I'll start with the very basic. First of all, let me go to the powerappsmakers.portals.com. So first of all, what you have to do if you have to start working on the Dynamics 365 customer service app. So there are two ways to create that app. Either you have the license of the customer service Dynamics 365 customer service app, or if you don't have the license, then you can create the trial so that you will get it for the 30 days. Now, how you can get the trial? You can simply go to the Google and just type Dynamics 365 customer service trial. A customer service trial. Okay, meanwhile it's opening, let me show you another thing. So once you open that customer 365 Dynamics 365 trial and the website of Microsoft, you need to select the trial option from the website, and then it will automatically create a trial in your environment. So you can see, like, I already have the Power Platform environment, so it's now open, I guess. Start a free trial. And this is the Dynamics 365, the website where you will find the trial of all the apps that you have. You can have the sales, you can have for the service. And if you can see, like, if you want to create the trial for the customer self service, Dynamics 365 customer service, nowadays you have the customer service contact center as well. Okay, so it's up to you, like which particular app you want to create for the trial. I'm going to demonstrate that for the Dynamics 365 customer service. So just hit try for free. You need to provide your email address here. Click on this option and start your free trial. Once you do this, it will take a couple of minutes, and then it will automatically create a new trial in your environment. So you can see, like, I already have the customer service trial available in my environment list. Select that, please ensure that you have selected that option. And if you go to the app section, you will see all the apps will be available here, like customer service hub, customer service workspace, and the customer service admin. All those apps are basically available for you that I have discussed just a while ago. Okay. So if I open the customer service workspace app here, all the app has the different user experience, and they have basically created based on the users they are going to use it. Okay, so customer service workspace, as I told, like it provides the multi sessions capability. So for example, if an agent is interacting with the multiple the customers, they don't need to go here and there back and forth. They don't need to click or switch the screens. They can simply create a new session. So for example, uh, if I open this particular case, you can see like this case has been open as in the new tab. I go back to the another tab. I can open this, and if I go to the home page and we'll open this, as you can see, like the new cases has been opened in the new session, right? So this basically app provide the multi-session capabilities. Now, if I talk about the different options that you have in the customer service workspace, the major thing is the case management. I am not going to discuss about each and every component because it will take a lot of time. You can explore that, but the major the component or the tables that is included as part of the customer service is the cases. Okay, in the cases you can see like I already have the cases available in my trial environment. If you want to create some sample data, you can just go to the settings, advanced settings, and then click on the data management section, and you have got the sample data. Okay, so if you want to just try it on, like what are the different features you have, you need to have the sample data available. So you can just click on the install sample data. Since I already have the sample data, that's why I got the remove sample data option. But you will get this install sample data option. So once you hit that option, you will get some test account, contact, cases and everything. Okay, so you don't need to create everything from the scratch. All right, so if I go to the cases, and you can see like I already have a lot of cases available. So if I open any of the cases, you can see like we have the different fields, and you have the priority. Based on that, you can do a lot of configurations. You have the case status, products, and everything. The one thing that I wanted to showcase is I think the automation of the record creation. Okay, so for that, you need to go to the advanced setting again, and then you have the service management option. Okay, so go to the service management section, and then you have two interesting features here that provide you the automation of the cases. The first feature is automatic record creation and update rules. Okay, so what this feature does it, if I go to new, you can create a rule that can automatically create the data in your dataverse. Now, this data is not only required that it can only be the case, but you can also create the other dataverse data as well, contact, account, lead, opportunity, whatever it is. But since we are going to discuss about the Dynamics 365 customer service, so I'm going to discuss about the case. Imagine, you get the email from the gold customer or the premium customer. Okay, and it is being added in a particular queue. So I have already created a queue called web queue, and I think I can simply change this queue name to gold queue for now, just for the better understanding, so that you will know like. So this is the queue that I have created called gold queue. And in this queue, you can see like there are two types, public and the private. So private, I kept this queue type as private because I want like the members who are part of this queue can only access the queue items. Okay. And I can also provide the other configurations as well. And just go back to the previous screen now. So I'm going to create a new record creation rule. And for example, like I want to auto create case for email. Okay. Now here I will select gold queue, something like this. Now what this means is queue to monitor. So this rule or this component will automatically monitor the queue if there is a new item gets created in this particular queue, and it is basically coming through the email, then it automatically create the case for me. Okay, so it will save it. The step two, I need to put the condition to evaluate and action to take, because I don't want that all the uh, emails which is coming into this queue should create a case. I need to provide some specific condition as well. So for example, I will hit the new option, and I will provide the condition that the customer should be the gold customer. Okay, so how can I do that? So as you know, like in the email, we have the regarding field. So probably I can check the regarding contact. Think I need to select. Right. Regarding. Okay, so this is the regarding field. I think I need to search the related table, because as you know, like in the email, we have the regarding field, and in the regarding, I'm expecting like the contact is mapped, and this contact I can select in the regarding as this one, and here I'm going to select that if the contact entitlement, I think. Okay, let's imagine I select the email for now. Okay, so let's select email. If the email of that contact is, imagine I'm just taking my email address. So this is, I'm just going for the demonstration, but you can configure any of the rule. Like if I'm getting the .com. So the email is coming from this email address. Okay, so this is the condition I want to provide. I want to automatically create a case, but this is not only applicable for the case. You can choose any of the table from here and you can create it. Now, another option that Microsoft has provided, like, sometimes you have to straightforward create the case, but sometimes uh, you have to interact with some external database, some external data sources. You have to do some kind of the business logic you have to write, and you have to do some additional business logic. You have to interact with the external system. You have to get the data from the external system before creating the data. So in that case, you have the open save and open power automate option. So if I hit this, it will take me to the power automate screen, and here there you can add multiple actions the way you create the power automate. Okay, and in that case, if you want to trigger your power automate, you just keep this value blank. Okay, you just select as a blank, and then you can trigger your power automate. So as soon as this new record creation and update rule will trigger, this power automate will trigger and automatically create the data. Okay, so this is the way how you can simply add the rule to automatically create the data. Okay, so for example, if the email is coming from a gold customer, if the email is coming from the specific customer, or if the email is entitled or to a particular contract, then these kind of business logic you can write. There is one more automation way to do that is again go to the service management, and there is an option called routing rule set. Okay, this routing rule set is basically used to automatically route the cases to a different queues, right? Like as I've shown you in the slide deck, for example, if I am creating the request from the Power Pages site or from the self-service portal, I want like it should be automatically assigned to the web queue. Imagine I have three different queues: phone call queues, email queues, and the web queues. And each queue has a dedicated, the team members who are working on the queue, and they want to work on the specific channel. So if the item is of the or the cases are created from the web, then they will pick up those web items and then start working on that. Okay, so how the how the users can pick up the items. So if I go here and go to the queues, no, this one, I think I need to go here. And then if you go to the queues, so there are different options to differentiate the queues, like the case available to work on. So imagine like I am the queue member of the gold queue, and someone has added a particular item like this case in the queue. So if I go to the case available to work on, I will get this particular case. So currently I'm not working on it, but if I select this and click on the pick, then it will assign to my queue and I can start working on that. And if I already working on it, and I can release that as well so that some other one can start working on that. Okay, so this is the way how you can do that. But there are certain rules you can set so that it will automatically add that data into the queue. So how you can do that? So for that you have the routing rule. Okay, so for example, like I have created a routing rule for the web request. Web request means if someone is creating the request from the Power Pages site or the self-service portal, I want that it should automatically go into the gold queue, okay, or the web queue. So you just need to first create a rule set here. It's just a simple name and the description. And the main thing here is the rule item. Okay. So I have created a rule item here. And in this rule item, I need to provide the criteria like the case of the origin equal to web. Okay. So if the origin of the case is the web, then you can automatically route to the queue, and then you have to select that queue name. Okay, so imagine if I am creating a new item here. So first I need to deactivate that. So let me close it and deactivate that. So you need to activate that as well in order to that routing rule to work. So I'm just deactivating it and then creating a new one. So if I create a new, you can put the condition here, and then you have two options. Either you can automatically assign the item to the queue, or you can, you can automatically route the item to the queue, or you can assign the item as well. Because like if you ever work on the Power Pages site, whenever you create a particular record from the Power Pages site, it always set the owner as a portal owner. Okay, it will not be having owner as a Dataverse owner. So what you can do, you can set a routing rule. So whenever a new item gets created from the portal, or when a new case get created from the portal, it will automatically assign that to a particular team or the user. As you can see, I have created two routing rule set. One is to assign the web request, and one is to route the web request. Okay, so this is also a way how you can automatically route the cases through the different channels or through the different type of customers. Okay, okay, now let me talk about the knowledge articles now. Okay, so knowledge articles are basically used to create the content or some FAQs in the Dynamics 365 customer services. So basically it has various features. The first is you can create the knowledge articles, you can manage the life cycle of it, you can maintain the version history, you can keep the articles in the different the languages, you can publish them so that it can be visible on the website or for the internal users as well. And you can do the tracking and the analyzing as well, like how many people or how many views are there on the knowledge article, how many people have used the knowledge article, how many people has provided the feedback on the knowledge articles. Okay, so this is how the whole the process of the knowledge article looks like. You first need to create the knowledge article. So customer service representative will create an article, and that will be in the draft mode. And then they will put the article in the review mode. So someone needs to review that. So reviewer will pick up that the article, and they can reject that article, so that again it will go to the CSR make the changes, and this process will keep on going until the article is approved. Okay, so once the reviewer approve the articles, then the customer service representative create the articles, or search for the CSR for the different languages. So imagine the CSR has initially created the article in the English language, but you want to also enable it for the Swedish and the German language. So they will create the same article which is got approved in the different language, and once it is done, then you will publish that article so that it will be appear on the external website or for the internal users as well. Okay, so there are different the status of the knowledge article, the draft, the approve and reject, schedule. You can also schedule as well. So sometimes you want to publish the article in a specific duration of time, you can publish, and you can expire as well if that particular days is passed. In order to use the knowledge management feature, you need to have the security rules. So basically knowledge articles and the knowledge article views. These are the two tables you will find it in the database. So you need to have the appropriate permissions in order to access those knowledge articles. Okay. And in the knowledge management, you have the major versions and the minor versions. So of course, if you are writing a knowledge articles, you need to make some changes in that. So if there are some major changes you are expecting, then you can change the major version. And if you are changing some minor, if you are doing some minor changes, then it is called as a minor version. So you have got the two versions, majors and the minors. Okay. So before going that, I can quickly demonstrate that where you can find that knowledge article. So if I go to the customer service hub, now let me this time show you the different app that is the customer service hub. So you will find the knowledge article in all the apps that I have shown you, but this time I'm showing you the customer service hub, and you can see like if I go to the knowledge articles, so I already have plenty of knowledge article available in my app. But how you can do that, if you want to create a new one, just click on new, and you need to provide a title of the knowledge article. So let's imagine I am providing test description. So this description is just some description note about what this title is all about, but the main description of the title or the content you have to provide in this HTML format. Okay, so this is the rich text editor where you can provide your knowledge article. You can provide the images, you can embed the videos, you can embed the images. So you can do whatever you want. The HTML content, you can use it here. Keywords are basically used to search your knowledge article, whether it's your website or you are searching within your database or in the app. It is basically help you to search that your particular knowledge article. So imagine like you are creating a knowledge article about uh, Copilot, Microsoft 365, Copilot AI, and here you can provide the keyword like Copilot, Microsoft 365 AI, and something like this. Okay, and here you can provide all the content related to it. And once you do it as a CSR, you can save it, and then you can send it for review. So you can provide the article subject, maybe it's a general, and then go to the next stage. So your step is completed and you are sending it for review. Now imagine you are sending this for review, and I am the reviewer, and I will review it. And once I will review it, I can either approve it or reject it. So if I approved it, I will go to the next step, and the final step is the publish one. Okay, and while doing the publish, I have the option like I can set as expiration date, and there are few more features of the articles like internal and the external, because sometimes you may not want to publish all the articles for the external website. Sometimes you want to create some confidential articles that you want to remain keep it for the internal user. So that setting basically help you that. So if you keep it as no, that article will not be published to the external website. Okay, and these are the status reason. This is the unique number of it. And here I was talking about this is the different languages you can create here. So you can add the different translations, and you can add the different translation of your knowledge articles. Okay. And here you can see like what are the related articles, because sometimes one articles can be related to the different articles, right? So you can add the related articles as well. And here you can see the related products. So sometimes you create the articles related to a specific product in your organization. So that will help you, that will basically help the agents finding the right articles while working on the cases. Okay. And yeah, so that's it for this. And analytics basically show you like what are the cases where these knowledge articles are being used, and what are the feedback that the user has provided on that. And the views basically provide you how many users has views that the copilot, sorry, the knowledge article. So if I go to the cases, so imagine I'm working on a cases, and if as a call center agent, I'm working on a particular case, and you can see like if I'm working on a case, I can quickly go to the this knowledge article option from here, and it will showcase all the articles related to this particular case available in my system. So if any of the knowledge article help me solve this problem, otherwise I can create a new knowledge article. All right. So this is how the knowledge article looks like. The next and the last topic is how the Power Platform can be used to boost up your customer services. Okay, so as you know, like we have different kinds of product or the component in the Power Platform. For example, Power Apps, Power Automate, the Copilot Studio, and the Power BI, and the Power Pages. So these are the five components that we have, and all the components can be bring together to revolutionize the customer service process. So for example, like you need to create a quality check app for the call center. So imagine you have this scenario like a call center has a quality assurance team that basically listen to all the kind of conversation the agent is having with the customers, and whether they are following a certain set of policies or not. So while Dynamics 365 customer service, as you know, like the insight can tell the supervisor about the sentiment of the call, but sometimes it cannot verify the agent has followed the guidelines or not. Okay. So the call center required a system or the app that can capture the quality check. Okay. And track this any corrective actions for that. So for that kind of things, you can create a Canvas app, and that can help you create an app, and you can embed this particular app in your model driven app as well, or in your customer 365 the service app as well. So you can see like in the left side, I have created a quality check app, where as a quality service manager, I can create some quality check observations like problem with the greeting, who is the agent, and which case I'm talking about, what are the score and result is failed, something like this. And based on that, we can take the decision. So this is the one example where you can create the Canvas app or the leverage the advantage of Power Platform components. Okay. The second example is the portal app. So I think we are going to have a detailed demonstration of this Power Pages integration with the customer service in the today's one of the session. So I'm not going to dive deep into it, but I can quickly show you one thing like if you want to play the self-service capabilities, go to the website, and I already have created one website called self-service. But if you don't have, you can create a new website, and if you can create a new website, there are certain templates that Microsoft has provided to you, and based on those templates, for example, like start with a template, and in this template you will get some template for customer self-service capability. Now this template will help you provide the self-service, the case management, and the knowledge management. So if you basically, if you are planning to create the self-service portal, you will not get these all the capabilities out of box. But if you use this template, you will get all those capabilities out of box. So I've already created a portal just for the demonstration purpose. If I can quickly show you here. So here is the portal that I have already created, and you can see like I have the support options. I have the knowledge base options where customer can search the data based on the FAQ that we already have. So as I was talking about, we have the knowledge management and we can publish the article for the portal as well. And we have the case management option. So you can click open a new case. You can talk about any of the tell the title, descriptions, case type, and you can create the cases directly from the portal as well. You can upload the file, some attachments as well. Once the case gets created, the agents can directly go to the case part, my all active cases. And if I can filter it out from here, you can see like a new case has been created in the Dataverse immediately, and the agent can start working on immediately. And as I said, like since this is basically related to the web, and so it will automatically assign to a particular queue and everything. And here you can see like the Power Apps performance related issues has already been raised before. So you can see like all the recent cases are also being showcased here. All right. So the agent can also see the knowledge article and can start working on that. So this is how you can leverage, the portal part, and the co-pilot feature as well. So as you can see, like if I go to the portal again, let me quickly show you 2 minutes more. And here you can see the co-pilot option as well. So this co-pilot, you can simply go to the management app. So something like this setup, and here you get this co-pilot option. And this Copilot option provide you embedding the Copilot chatbot. It's the rebranding of the Power Virtual Agent, as you know, and you can publish your Copilot on the website. Okay. And if you want to enhance it, if you want to provide some more generative AI features, you anyways can go with the Copilot Studio, customize that Copilot, and you can provide the more knowledge to your Copilot agent, right? So this is the way how you can simply enhance it, and that's it for now. And thank you so much for joining my session. And if you have any questions related to the Power Platform Dynamics 365, you can reach out to me. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ras.
Round of applause for Arpit, everyone. Thank you very much, Arpit. So what Arpit covered are the base. This is the absolute fundamentals of case management and customer service. It gets a lot more advanced from here, guys. So once again, huge round of applause for Arpit. Arpit, please share your blog and your contact information so that the community can keep in touch with you.
Thank you.
So now over to our next guest speaker, none other than Doher. So Doher's online. Fantastic. So Doher, are you able to unmute? Yep, Doher has unmuted. But we can't hear you.
Yes, hi. Good morning.
We can hear you now. Hello there. Excellent. Fantastic, Doher. Fantastic. So Doher, where are you joining us from today?
I'm here in Stockholm, Sweden.
Wow, fantastic. Well, it's a huge pleasure to host you today. So I know you've only got half an hour and I've already used 3 minutes of your time. So I apologize, Doher. We can see your screen, so I'll hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
All right. No worries, Raj. That's okay. And thank you so much for the Power community for organizing the Global Dynamics 365 Bootcamp. And of course, hello, everyone. Welcome to the ABCs of Dynamics 365 Connect Center, from basics to impact in 30 minutes. Well, my goal today is just to show you how this amazing platform can help you transform your customer service operations by focusing on 3 simple ideas. First is AI powered. Second is better insights. Third is connect effortlessly. And of course, by the end of the session, you'll have a practical understanding of what Dynamics 365 Contact Center can do and how to apply it to real world scenarios. So are you ready? But before anything else, I hope you can see my screen and you can hear me loud and clear. All right. Okay, so thank you for the intro as well, Raj. But just a quick intro about myself. Just you can call me Drizzle. All right, because I am known as Drizzle here in the Microsoft world. I am a solutions architect specializing in AI, apps, Dynamics 365 Power Platform, and data. I'm also one of the Microsoft Learn experts. I have my What's Up Biz app learning room, so you can join my learning room later on. My focus will be AI, Dynamics 365 Power Platform, and data, and of course, the rest. As you can see, I also have some of my social handles, so feel free to connect with me later on, especially on LinkedIn. All right. So you can see some pictures. That's just my journey on how I get started from when I was young and how I switched my careers to IT because I'm not really a tech person. I just decided to switch 8 years ago. All right. Okay, so much for myself. Well, my agenda for today is just so basic. I hope time will permit so I can do a quick demo. But other than that, my main focus is how we can start from the basic to understanding the impact of Dynamics 365 Contact Center. Okay, and of course, as Raj mentioned earlier, this bootcamp should be interactive and engaging. So everyone, please go ahead and participate to our first icebreaker activity. Everyone can participate, even if you're just joining straight from your mobile phone, laptop, or desktop. Feel free to just go to slido.com, just open a web browser and type slido.com. And then once the homepage opens, feel free to type the numbers flashed here on your screen. Okay, so let's start with this first question. Of course, I'd like you to think about the last time you contacted a company or organization for support. Maybe you had that question, complaint, especially last holiday. Where's my delivery? Am I receiving the gift or my kids will be receiving the gift? How did you reach out? So yes, keep those answers coming, but don't worry, I have my a minute to win it timer here. I'll give you a minute to answer. Please go ahead and input your answer. So this is good. We can see chat, we can see email. Okay. Lesser is a phone call, but that's okay. So at least chat is easier now with all the bots straight from the website or from the social media. This is good that I can see customer portal. Yeah, oh, phone call is catching up. All right. Because everyone forces you to go through a badly working bot. Mm. All right, no worries. It's okay. So we also have Facebook, we have telephone. All right, we still have 17 seconds remaining and we have two participants typing. So please key in your answers. There's no right or wrong. Okay, and then we have live chat. Yes. Face to face for F to F, right? It's face to face. Okay, perfect. Now time's up. Okay, who won? No. Okay, the top answers from our word cloud, of course, we have chat. Oh, I was surprised because I was thinking more on phone call, or is it um just same number, chat and phone call? We still have email and of course WhatsApp. Yeah, most of the organizations are already using WhatsApp. Then we have Facebook and the actual support portal. So thank you everyone um for sharing those answers. And of course, at least we have an understanding that every one of us had an encounter with a customer support or contact center on any organization or company, right? And once another question. I still have another question here. Another slide, oh. Yes. So let me switch. Okay. All right. Still the same. All right. So here, I just want to ask if have you or your organization used or you deployed a solution for contact center or customer service? If yes, yes, we can put D365 or Dynamics 365. We can put Salesforce, Zendesk. All right. If not yet, you can just put none or not yet. That's okay. All right. So I still have my 1 minute or my a minute to win it timer. So I will click the timer again. So hold on. Yes. Okay. So we have Genesis, we have Top Desk, we have Dynamics 365, D365. Okay. All right, so it's okay. We have 48 seconds to go. All right, so let's see what comes up on the screen. Okay, if none, it's okay. You can type none. So at least I can also have an understanding. If we have newbies here, that's okay. So we are just setting up your foundation with Dynamics 365 Contact Center. Okay, so D365 CRM, yes. Landes, playback. Okay, custom built solution. Yep. Okay, last 15 seconds. One participant typing. Thank you for the 28 participants who who joined our icebreaker activity. So at least we're having fun and at least you're engaging with us. Then we also have Business Central. Okay, time's up. We have a total of, okay, we still have 2 participants typing. Oh, we have Amazon Connect. Yeah, okay. Oh, we also have Fresh Desk and ServiceNow and the rest. So this is amazing because we can see a mix of familiar tools, like of course, D365 Fresh Desk, Genesis. Well, most of this I was able to use because I was also an ex um, DPO or contact center agent, then became a trainer, a leader, a manager, and even project manager in building the actual contact center. So this platform or solution is really close to my heart. So yeah, this is so amazing. So if you've deployed a solution before, then you might already know how challenging it can be, right? To keep everything seamless across multiple channels. So for those who have not yet, that's okay because today's session will give you a perfect starting point. All right. So let's start exploring how the Dynamics 365 Contact Center can simplify this for everyone. All right. So let's go to the actual discussion. All right. So we'll start first with A. Okay. AI powered. All right. So A is for AI powered Copilot. As we all know, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Contact Center is a Copilot first contact center solution that brings automation and efficiency to every engagement channel with any CRM or customer relationship management. Okay. Well, you say think of Copilot as your personal superhero in the contact center because it summarizes conversations, it analyzes sentiment, and even suggests the best next steps, all in real time. Okay. So, for example, if a customer says, I'm frustrated with your service, Copilot recognizes the tone and provides the agent with empathetic response or knowledge article. So if we have Copilot in our platform, it will be smarter and faster, and the burden on the agents while ensuring customers will be feel heard and valued. Now let's move on to B for better insight. So with Dynamics 365 Contact Center, you can monitor your team's performance in real time and even dive into historical analytics. So imagine having dashboards that show you who's struggling or who's excelling and where your bottlenecks are, all at your fingertips. So it's like no more flying blind. You'll make smarter decisions and improve performance like a pro. C is for connect effortlessly, whether it's voice, chat, email, or even SMS. Dynamics 365 connects all your communication channel into one unified platform. So picture this, like a customer starts with a chat, like every one of us who answered from Slido. And then we move it to a phone call, and then later on, we follow up via email. So your agent will have the full context every time and no repeating of information. So that means there will be like a seamless experience for customers and agents alike. D. D is for Dataverse. The platform utilizes Microsoft Dataverse to store and manage customer data, providing a unified and secure data repository that informs your self-service bots, IVR, case management, and the agent experience. So as Raj shared earlier, while he was discussing about the architecture or the foundation of Dynamic 365 customer service, he also mentioned about Dataverse. So same as with Dynamics 365 Contact Center. So there's Dataverse within the platform. Okay. And then we have E for extensibility. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center offers extensibility to integrate its features with non-Microsoft CRM solutions. So that's also one of the objective or the rationale behind the question that I asked, like if you use other or if you've deployed other CRM solutions for customers for your contact center, because I would also like to give you that information that it's also possible here, better powerful alone and better together. So I'll share more of the deployment options later on as we move forward on my next slide. So organizations now can tailor the platform to meet your unique needs and integrate with existing systems or platforms. And then here goes the flexible deployment. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center can be deployed as an embedded experience within your existing CRM, or it can be a standalone solution, all right, or a standalone experience, which also provide the flexibility to suit to your organizational requirements. Then G, we have generative AI. So Copilot in Dynamics 365 Contact Center consists of generative AI capabilities that will expedite resolutions of customer issues and increase customer satisfaction. Some of them are shown here. We have this screenshot like providing the summary, generating some response, and even providing insight. Okay? Well, overall, it will help or it will enhance our agent efficiency and improve the overall customer experience. Then we have H. We have historical analytics. The platform provides access to historical data, allowing analysis for past interactions and performance metrics to identify trends and areas for improvement. So later on, if I still have time, I'll allotted a quick demo for 5 minutes so I can showcase how this historical analytics embedded within the Dynamics 365 Connect Center, the actual look and feel is, I hope. Right now, looking at my stopwatch, it's 14 minutes, but still good with the timing. So later on, if you have any questions, you can already send it on our Microsoft Teams chat or the Q&A feature. I hope you are all still following. Okay, and as we move forward, I stands for intelligent routing. So the system uses AI-infused unified routing to assign incoming service requests from all channels, all right, to the best suited agents, considering factors like priority and skills. So this just ensures the efficient handling of inquiries, reducing wait times, and of course, improving our customer satisfaction. Okay. And then we have J, or journey analytics. Well, this feature allows you to map and analyze the customer's journey across all the touch points. So may it be from phone, chat, email, or social media. So imagine being able to see the entire path a customer takes from their first query to the resolution and identify where they might drop off or experience frustration. So remember the discussion about the customer service. So we have the identify, research, and resolve on how we handle the case. So here you'll be able to see that journey analytics. So it will give you a 360-degree view of the customer journey that will help you improve your process and deliver a seamless experience. And then K stands for knowledge management. So Dynamics 365 empowers agents with a centralized knowledge base where they can access FAQs, the frequently asked questions, AI curated articles, and troubleshooting guides, all within the contact center workspace. So, for example, when an agent handles a customer's inquiry about a product, the system or Dynamics 365 can suggest relevant solutions or articles in real time. So that aids in faster response time and higher agent confidence, resulting in a better customer experience. Then we have Al. Okay, Al is for languages supported. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center supports a wide range of languages and offers a real-time translation capabilities. So this means a customer can type their query in French, and an English-speaking agent can respond with a application automatically translating both sides of the conversation. I'm also sharing a snapshot from Microsoft, like for the Copilot in D365 Contact Center language support roadmap as well. Okay. And then the rest of the languages supported of Dynamics 365 Contact Center, you can find it in Microsoft Learn documentation. Also, M is for messaging channels. So today, of course, as we know, and based from your answers, customers want flexibility. But I saw one answer there that, of course, you are being pushed from the chatbot, or yeah, companies are suggesting for you to use the chat. Sorry for the chatbot. And of course, Dynamics 365 delivers by supporting SMS, WhatsApp, Teams, and more. So you can see Line as well, Facebook Messenger, especially in the Philippines. I came from the Philippines, so Filipinos love Facebook. So thankfully we have Facebook Messenger as well. So here, for instance, let's say a customer could ask a question via WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. So meaning agents can also respond directly from their workspace within D365. So just keeping all interactions unified. So it's like meeting your customers where they are, ensuring convenience and of course satisfaction. Then N is we have nuance integration. This is where AI powered each technology takes center stage, enabling real-time transcription, sentiment analysis, and even intent detection during voice interaction. So imagine having a system that can detect a frustrated tone in a caller's voice and suggest calming responses to the agent. So this will enhance the quality of voice interaction and deliver a human-like, empathetic experience. Then O is for onboarding made simple. So with OLM or operational lifecycle management, the provisioning process is streamlined and automated. So admins can easily copy and deploy environments with minimal manual effort. So we're talking about the actual Dynamics 365 Contact Center deployment. All right. So for example, when you're setting up a new contact center in a different region, we can just replicate the configuration of an existing one in just a few clicks. All right. So meaning you'll have a faster setup, fewer errors, and of course, everyone wants smooth deployment process, right? Okay. And then of course we have P. Okay. P stands for the prerequisites. So I believe Raj was able to cover the prerequisites or some points for customer service. So here, before getting started with Dynamics 365 Contact Center, we ensure you have the required licenses and roles, let's say such as the Dynamics 365 System Administrator role, especially if you're doing the actual setup, the configuration and customization of the application. You also have a clear understanding of the system requirements and of course the business unit setup. So this preparation ensures a solid foundation for your contact center. Everything can be found within Microsoft Learn, the documentation, for more detailed information. Okay. All right. Next would be as queue. It's for queue management. So Dynamics 365 enables smart prioritization and callback options to keep your customers happy and minimize wait time. So for example, customers can request a callback instead of waiting in a queue, and the system ensures they retain their place. So it's like happier customers and reduced agent stress during peak times. Then we have R is for real-time analytics. So if we have historical analytics, we also have real-time. So this is very beneficial specifically for our supervisors or our team leaders or call them TLs or operations manager who can monitor live dashboard to track SLA or service level, um, wait times, and even agent performance as it happens. And if an issue arises, like, a spike in the call volume, they can act immediately by redistributing workload or adjusting priorities. So I remember before, like 10 years ago, I was in the contact center industry. So I need to go to the RTA to check like how many calls in queue. So do I need to send these agents on break? But if we have this large call volume, then I will hold the break. But right now, this real-time analytics will be so beneficial for everyone because in just a click of a button, I'll be able to see the dashboard that I need. Okay. Then we have F for self-service. So Dynamics 365 offers powerful tools like virtual agents, IVR systems, and AI-driven chatbots that handle routine inquiries without agent intervention. So, for instance, a customer could use a chatbot to track an order or update their account details. So it will just free up our agents for more complex issues while empowering customers to help themselves as well. Then T is for Teams collaboration. So Dynamics 365 integrates seamlessly with Microsoft Teams, enabling agents and supervisor to collaborate in real time. So imagine an agent consulting a subject matter expert via Teams while staying in the Dynamics workspace. Because before, I need to raise my hand when you were in the contact center 10 years ago or a few years ago. I need to raise my hand and I will wait for the SME to go to my station before I can ask for an assistance. But now I can just send a chat with the Teams integration within Dynamics 365 in just with one workspace. So that means faster resolutions and improved teamwork even in complex cases. And then US, we have unified interface. So Dynamics 365 consolidates all tools, customer data, and workflow into one intuitive interface. So agent can access voice calls, chat, email, and analytics all in one place without switching between systems. So it's more on like just a streamlined workflows and higher efficiency for your teams. And then we have V for voice channel. So Dynamics 365 handles inbound and outbound calls with features like PST and integration, live transcription, and sentiment analysis. So, for example, calls are automatically transcribed, allowing supervisors to review interactions for QA or quality assurance. Because as an agent, or as a call center representative or customer service representative, um, most of our calls are monitored and we have like QAs who audit the call and also give scores, okay, just to ensure we comply with the process and the guidelines of that specific account that we're handling. All right. So that will also be up to the transcription for the supervisors to be able to review for QA purposes. And then, of course, we have W for workforce management. The platform provides tools for scheduling, forecasting, and optimizing our staff levels. Specifically during the high demand periods, you can adjust schedules in real time to maintain service level, just so we'll be able to reduce our agent burnout and ensure optimal staffing at all times. And then we have X, all right? So X is for experience optimization. So you can see with AI and analytics, you can continuously improve customer journeys by identifying pain points and implementing data-driven solutions. So these are some of the different architecture that we can work within our Dynamics 365 Contact Center application or solution. But you can see how it works together hand in hand with the other applications or components within Microsoft technology, or how we integrate with third-party applications as well. So we are making a better ecosystem, not just within Microsoft ecosystem. Then, of course, we have why, your choice of CRM. So whether you use Dynamics 365, Salesforce, or a custom CRM, the platform integrates seamlessly with existing tools. So flexibility at its finest. And then last is V. V is for zero barriers. Dynamics 365 is built on Microsoft's secure cloud-first platform, ensuring scalability, reliability, and global reach to future-proof your contact center. I know I only have 3 minutes left. I'm looking at my time, so I will switch my screen now to the trial version of the Dynamics 365 Contact Center. So for you, everyone, you can just visit this for you to try, click try for free. I had experience, I created a couple of trial version of Dynamics 365 for Contact Center. So if at first it fails, try again. I was able to try second or third time and then wait for it to redirect you to a new tab or a new window. So this should open, this should be the output. Okay, and then this is how it looks like. This is what I'm talking about, like the historical analytics, insights. Also, will be the contact center workspace and all the features that will be helpful for the agent, and of course, the different users, different persona wise. But this is how the contact center trial looks like. So you can see. You can select like a case, you'll see the customer details. You can also see the knowledge articles related to that specific case. You can also see like the agent scripts, the macro, like the actual script in between the customer, if you want them to update the case, resolve the case. And then we also have the Copilot function at the same time where you can utilize the summarization, asking for questions. All right, you can also like write an email. So this is just a quick run on how the actual Dynamics 365 Contact Center trial looks like. And then we also have the contact center guided tour here. You can just take a screenshot and I'll share the links later on. And then this is the actual Dynamics 365 Contact Center documentation, especially for newbies or for those who wants to learn more about Dynamics 365 Contact Center. Then you also have for GitHub some resources for Dynamics 365 Contact Center. Okay, so I only have 30 seconds for my closing, so I will just politely close my session for today. That's it for the A to Z of Dynamics 365 Contact Center, from AI-powered Copilot to zero barriers. So you've seen how the solution simplifies operations and enhances customer experiences. So next steps, of course, pick one feature from today's session that resonates most and explore how it can impact your business. So let's make your contact center the best it can be. And don't forget to connect with me, especially if you have questions related to Dynamics 365 Contact Center or AI business applications or even data. Well, that's it for me. Sorry for the 18 seconds time exceeded, but I'll give the floor back to you, Raj. And thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. You're on mute, Raj.
Thank you so much, Doher. Yeah. No, again, huge round of applause for Doher for doing that whirlwind tour and covering the scenarios that you need to be aware of when implementing customer services. Excellent. Thank you once again, Doher. It was a great pleasure to host you today. So we're now moving on to our next session of the day with none other than Chris Goodwill, who's going to be giving you a full whirlwind tour of contact center. So we've covered customer services today, and and Doher obviously covered the concepts. And now Chris is going to cover contact center. So, Chris, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Chris. Chris, it's a
That's
huge
great.
pleasure to host you today. We can hear you. We can see your screen. We are 5 minutes into your time.
That's fine.
So without further ado, Chris, I'm going to hand over to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, all good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris.
Brilliant. Right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from the UK. So, yeah, thanks for letting me take part in the Global Bootcamp today. And I hope you find this session interesting. It's going to be relatively high level, but I'll kind of get into explaining what I'm going to cover in a little bit. So I'm working from a partner site today, actually, so I'm not in my home office or in my own company offices, so I hope the audio is okay. If it does start to go, please someone message or just let me know, break in as I'm going. So yeah, let's get on with it then. So really quickly then, who am I? I've worked in voice and data for about 30 years. 15 years of that was in carrier grade communication, so for what became eventually Virgin Media in the UK. So I was a switch engineer, so I've got an affinity with voice, and then stepped into the Microsoft world about 15 years ago when Microsoft Link had just come on the scene. So I've been on that journey from Link to Skype to Teams, and now to kind of stepping into kind of Microsoft's native offering. I've worked with contact centers in the ISV space for about 10 or 11 years, 2 vendors in particular. But I've been waiting for the native play from Microsoft. It feels like ever since I started, wondering like why they've not got a CCaaS play. And again, we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. I work for a company called Simity. I'm not going to spend loads of time on this because it's probably not of interest to the audience. Just gives you a flavour for who I work for. Simity are a pure play Microsoft partner. So we only do Microsoft solutions, and we're focused on phone system, contact centre, MTRs, security. So yeah, that's who we are. But what are we going to talk about today? I've got a few of these. Hopefully you like them. I create visuals then because it's a great way for me to be able to learn. And I think some other people probably find visually it's easier to learn. So I've taken some of the concepts since the GA for the product to just distill them really for myself and for colleagues I work with, and also then for obviously other consultants and partners and clients that we work with. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center, on the right-hand side on here, you can see I've kind of built it out like, well, it could be Burger King, couldn't it? It could be McDonald's, but for one of those brands doing fast food, but just showing really the kind of richness of the solution, because it's been pulled together from a framework architecture, digital contact center platform, which I started to look at probably about 2 years ago. So wasn't at the start of that journey as DCCP was built out, so a little bit later coming to it. But that was because we were looking for the native play and wanted to use that architecture to build solutions for customers. So on the right-hand side, we've got a rich gourmet burger, if you want to call it that. And on the left-hand side, we've got some of the other offerings in the market, which fundamentally do the basics. You know, they'll cover voice and email. They'll be able to read from a CRM. They might give some kind of reporting, but in terms of depth and breadth of features and functions, then quite limited. So, right, okay, let's get into the solution. And first of all, like why? The why really? Why do we need another contact center in the ecosystem? And there are a lot of solutions out there. Got about 30 certified ISV solutions for Microsoft, as well as non-Microsoft solutions, obviously. But why do I think this is a great solution, and why do I think Microsoft are going to play really well? Well, customer service, I've written a couple of articles about it recently. Customer service is still broken, and it feels broken. It feels like some of the technology we've deployed in the last 10 years probably more so 5 or 6 years, then has been fairly tactical. And also there's been the promise of great experience with things like chatbots and web chat. And in actual fact, I think in a huge segment of the market where customer service is important to brands and organizations, etc. It doesn't necessarily have to be B2C, can be B2B, but we've tried to bypass contact center technology, whether it's trying to get past an IVR or just to try and get to an agent, try and get to someone who's going to give us the answer that we need to a question. We could do so much better. And, I really think Dynamics 365 Contact Center is going to help transform customer service for organizations. So what have we got on this slide? So we've got, down here, we've got all the different channels. So omni-channels become a more common term, but even then, some clients using contact centers are only using maybe 1 or 2 modalities, but they can be on completely separate platforms. So we've got siloed data down here. The self-service element of a CCaaS platform can again be fragmented. We could have a solution for the chatbot. We could have social media set off somewhere else. Maybe it's being managed in, in a platform for social channels only. The contact us form drops into an email box somewhere and is never seen or never checked, or not proactively anyways. SMS platforms that are integrated with UCaaS platforms. And then IVRs that, like I say, they can be challenging to get through them. What's the right option? You end up taking an option just to try and get to someone as quickly as possible, rather than actually get to the right person. And I think some of that, even though as technologists, we've probably worked with clients to try and architect it in the right way, maybe the customer journey hasn't been quite what the customer expects, for example. And then the routing, what happens through the self-service or the channels, like where does that go? We've got multiple different ways of being able to get to agents, possibly not the best. We're trying to get to the person who can answer the question. So whether they've got the right skills, knowledge, etc., or whether it's down to availability, there's a range of ways that routing can work and be set up where it's skills based, obviously, things like that. But sometimes we're just queued, we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. So we want to try and enable customers to self-serve as much as possible. Where that's not possible, get it to the right agent, assist the agent, and then support everyone who's kind of looking at the performance of the contact center. But down here, just a reminder then, it's all about siloed and fragmented systems. So we want to change that. So reimagine service with Copilot. I think the pivotal change for me, I don't work for Microsoft, I speak to a lot of people there, but it feels like the real superpower behind Dynamics 365 Contact Center is Copilot. So Copilot came to market obviously a couple of years ago. And then last year we saw the launch of the Contact Center platform, the native platform, and that's by in no way coincidental. Obviously, it would have been planned out probably from the acquisition of Nuance as a business and the integration of that technology. But clearly, I think of Dynamics 365 Contact Center as, a platform where the agents have this secret superpower of Copilot, and equally the customers using the platform to self-serve. Then behind the scenes, Copilot's powering everything that they're trying to do. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center, one, it's quite hard to say, actually, whether we'll see a change in the name of the product. Who knows? It could be trimmed down, but yeah. So I tend to call it D365 CC when I'm talking about internally. But it's come to market, and one of the pivotal things I think, certainly at launch, was just this. Well, for the marketplace to understand that it's not reliant on Dynamics 365. That's almost a branding challenge there for Microsoft, and certainly for partners and clients looking at the product for the first time. it can be slightly misunderstood that they think they need to already be in the ecosystem of using that part of the stack. I'm sure other colleagues presenting today on the bootcamp have mentioned this. So it's headless. So what does that mean? So it can work on its own. It could be just a contact center in isolation, really. But equally, it's agnostic. What does that mean? It means it will work with other knowledge bases and data, so other CRMs. So you don't have to have Dynamics 365 customer service to be able to use this product. It will work with a range of existing CRMs. There's some connectors already available in the marketplace, including those for Salesforce and Zendesk and ServiceNow, for example, as well as it working, as you'd expect, really, with Open API. So we can pull in other data sources. And my own personal opinion is that, for clients and some of the market, some people in the market for a new CCaaS platform, certainly where they've got customer data they can leverage, I think that's not necessarily pivotal, but I think it's an important consideration as to why to choose the product. As I've mentioned, in the marketplace, there are a plethora, a range of other ISV offerings. So what is the differentiator here? I think the differentiator is that you can pull through the customer data and improve customer service and the customer's journey by having the experience for the customer, so they've got context, so the platform is context aware throughout it. So I'm just going to talk about that just for a minute. An example of that, what am I talking about, where the context gets pulled through? How many times have you contacted an organization using their chatbot and you explain the problem? It then gives you 2 or 3 options, maybe just a couple of options. They don't really answer your question. It asks another question, you give it some more information. It doesn't manage to solve it and pull back what you need to know. Maybe it just could be an order update, for example, or a returns policy in a retail situation. So you ask to then speak to an agent, and the call, the chat gets escalated to an agent. So you're now dealing with an agent. But often, I found I've had to repeat myself. So I've already explained the problem. It's further up the chat, but it's gone to an agent. Obviously, this will be platform specific, but I've got to tell them what's wrong again. They've not been able to see why I've contacted them. We speak to that agent, or we're chatting with them rather. We get escalated to a voice call, maybe. Maybe they need to speak to a supervisor or pass you to a different team. It's really common in any situation. Could be in banking, for example. You need to go to someone else to get something approved. When you get past that new team, how many times is the context lost again? And you have to repeat yourself again. So we're kind of 3 layers in, and we're already frustrated as a customer. And then hopefully, eventually, we get our question asked. But having a platform where that context is pulled through the whole customer journey, I think, is super important to be able to solve a lot of the frustrations that we have as customers of contact centers in organizations. So another visual. So this one really is just to try and show the component parts of the platform. So it's not necessarily a single SKU in terms of it's just one product that we're using, whether that's Teams, for example, as an example. It is made up of a number of platforms from the Microsoft ecosystem. And this, again, is the heritage of it coming from the DCCP, the Digital Contact Center Platform architecture. So down the bottom here, it's built on Azure. What does that give us? That gives us extensive scalability and security and reliability, which fundamentally is important for contact centers and for voice, particularly for voice, is having reliability in the platform. We've got the Dataverse then as the next layer. That's surfacing information, helping with things like the customer view, 360-degree customer view, customer's journey, the agent profiles, etc. So all the data sitting in that Dataverse layer. We can then leverage Power Platform as part of the solution. So Power Apps can be built. We can automate tasks. We can deliver bespoke reporting and analytics. So yeah, we've got, alongside Copilot as a superpower, we've got the superpower Power Platform sat in the solution. Copilot then, I talked about this before, but yeah, this is helping drive a lot of the self-service. It's also then sat alongside the agents, making their lives easier and more enjoyable. Contact center agents typically, it's a difficult role to work in. You've got a lot of churn in the industries rather, where the contact centers are. So anything we can do to make people happier in their role and deliver better customer service has got to be a good thing. So Copilot working alongside an agent, that's got to be a great thing. Something like onboarding with agents. You think of the time that a business would take to bring a new agent up to speed. They could be sat shadowing someone for like 3 to 6 month period. Onboarding in Dynamics 365 Contact Center can be a much faster process because they've got access to Copilot to be able to surface the right information based on customer intent, etc. So yeah, Copilot Studio is useful for bot authoring. So anything you might want to produce bespoke for a client, we've got Copilot Studio integration. And then channels. In fact, I've got a better slide, a visual on this later on, but we've got a range of omni-channel. So where organizations are already using channels, like I said, in a kind of fragmented way, in a siloed way, we can pull all of that together. Might also be that an organization hasn't stepped into some of the channels, hasn't been using things like web chat, live chat, and so it will give them an opportunity in one platform then to be able to deliver that for customers. I use this slide a tremendous amount when either I'm talking. In fact, I was doing some internal training yesterday to some new account directors at Simity, and if I'm speaking to clients, then I tend to labor the slide because for me, I've already kind of mentioned it, but I think about the product in 3 pillars. So we're looking at the self-service element, delivering effortless self-service, as Microsoft say, accelerating the agent-assisted service, and then also driving efficiency and reducing cost. I want to kind of rename that one on the end, the 3rd one, because that's really about, for me, the kind of oversight, management, supervision of the contact center. We'll get into it as we talk through these 3 segments. But yeah, I think the one thing in your mind, if you can really just get to grips with, we're looking at absolutely driving change in self-service, not just delivering it as it was, a lift and shift. We're trying to really drive change in that area. We've then got the agent, and rather than them have just a huge backlog of work to do that they're trying to constantly get through, constantly trying to write up notes after calls, etc. We're constantly trying to find the information. One thing it's apparent from looking at contact centers and the industry generally is agents can be using multiple platforms. 3 or 4 platforms is common, up to 10 platforms is possible. But trying to find the information as efficiently and quickly as possible, efficiently and effectively as possible. And then, yeah, kind of driving of efficiency, looking at the performance of the contact center and how you can make that work better. And I've stuck that in another visual, so you can see there's a bit of a food and drink theme going on here. Not necessarily intentional, it's just some slideware that I've been able to find and adapt. But yeah, the Omni-Rita, as I've called it. But yeah, self-service, agent assist, and efficiencies. Those 3 are the 3 key topics for me. The 3 key concepts, rather, to be able to get your head around with the platform. Now I've got a slide here. I'm hoping it's going to work. The animated. It's not, well, some of these slides so far you can see are from Microsoft's deck. And this was shared by someone called Mark Margolis, who works in business applications in the UK. But I just thought alongside my layer cake of showing the different layers, it just shows you how Dynamics sits alongside existing Dynamics products and also Power Platform and Azure. So I'm hoping if I spin forward, yeah, didn't know where the animation was going to work. But yeah, so the contact center, I don't even think it should be bolted on, to be honest. I think it should be on that main, I think it should sit, in here. But this is a good way of showing it kind of coming to market and working with the existing ecosystem of Dynamics 365 products. So yeah, so it sits with self-service, the assisted service, operations. That's the word actually, rather than just efficiencies. The operational side of contact center. And is the animation going to work here? Yeah, it is, but it's not. I'm not doing a live demo, but I haven't quite got this to work. Oh no, it has dropped it in. So what I wanted to show then is just this at the top layer. So, Microsoft talked about the UI for AI recently. And so for a lot of us, either clients or as partners, then, we're using this modern work layer. So we've got the coming together really of modern work and business applications here being pulled together by this new CCaaS platform. So the integration and interoperability is really there. So I like this slide. It wasn't quite as slick as I thought it was going to be though. So apologies for that. Let's get on to another slide though that makes things a bit easier for me to explain is, so we've gone from, where have we gone from? We're going from, as a reminder, going from this poor service, siloed data, fragmented systems, etc. And we come to this. Okay, so our 3 pillars, you can kind of see one of them there then in terms of self-service. And I've got a slide breaking down all the full omni-channel offering actually. But we want the customer to be able to use their channel of choice when they want to use it. So this, provides and could deliver 24/7 customer service to a range of organizations that don't use it today, think that it's, beyond their capabilities to deliver that. With this product, self-serve is really possible. If we can't self-serve though, what do we need to do? We then use through intelligent assistants, so through the chatbot we're interacting with, through the natural language IVR. So the Nuance acquisition, part of that, has meant that natural language IVR has been pulled into the offering. So what does that mean? Just means you can speak and it will understand. So we don't need to go through the 20 different options to be able to get to the option that's going to then put you in a queue to then get to an agent. Hopefully you're going to self-serve, you're going to ask the question and it's going to surface the answer easily to you. But in this assisted service bit here, we've then got unified routing. So based on the interaction of the customer with the platform, is constantly looking for the intent and the sentiment analysis and also potentially the skill. Why is that important? If sentiment analysis shows that, the customer's not very happy, maybe battling away with self-service options is perhaps not the best method then for communicating with a client at that point. Maybe it even looks back at sentiment analysis for that particular customer previously and has been low. So they're a VIP customer, could be in an airline situation, could be in any business situation really where someone's marked as a VIP and has a high lifetime value, LTV. And we want to get it to an agent quickly. So based on the kind of sentiment analysis, we escalate it then through to an agent who's got skills in dealing with that particular topic or in a dedicated VIP team. Also taking into consideration things like skills identification, availability as well. Obviously, we can see presence through kind of Teams integration or in the contact center, just scheduling and whether people are available. The intent as well of the customer, we're looking at that, just to make sure when we do route on, we're getting it to the right person. So we're trying to reduce all of that lag from the initial contact through self-service through to actually getting the right answer. Hope that made sense. So self-service, so we'll just talk about these three pillars just in a little bit more detail. But as I said there, this is giving the customer their channel of choice. So nowadays there's a much higher expectation that whether it's through WhatsApp or it's through a website or it's SMS or email, you know, depending on the generation of that customer, they'll have an expectation or they'll just want the ease of using their channel of choice. So Dynamics 365 Contact Center provides a full range of omni-channel capabilities. Context-aware digital chatbots. So again, you know, I was talking about that poor example of talking to a chatbot and then it going through to someone else and through to someone else and through to someone else, and the context is lost. So, you know, powered by AI, then we want the chatbot to be context aware. We then want that context to be pulled through automatically for when they speak to an agent, if they have to speak to an agent. If they're talking to the contact center through an IVR, the feature phrase that Microsoft have used, which is quite useful to remember it by, but frictionless conversational IVR wants to be easy to use, not hammering through options where you don't get the answer. We want to be able to talk naturally in real time with the system. It understands us the first time and also provide us with the relevant next step, whether that's the answer or whether it's the routing on of the communication. And one of the things I mentioned earlier was, you know, where I see the relevance for this platform is where you've got a range of trusted knowledge sources. So where you are already invested in Dynamics 365 for CRM, then great. Whether it's another third-party CRM, you've got websites, you've got knowledge bases, you've got FAQs, you've got information, customer data that can be surfaced to make the customer's journey easier. You know, and we want to leverage all that information and be able to surface it where relevant with data governance in place at the self-service stage. Again, I'm taking no credit for this. This is from a contact and peer called Ben Sandel at Microsoft, and he used this at the partner Springboard event in the UK in October, I think it was. But flipping the service on its head. So on the left-hand side, we've got what I want you to take away from this is that the majority of interactions are always currently escalated to a live agent. That's what we kind of expect, really. We expect to get to a human, and we often bypass the kind of automation or partial automation stages to be able to get to that live agent, and that can take a lot of time and probably results in us not being that happy. With Dynamics 365 flipping it on its head, the majority of the customer's interactions through the contact center, we want them to be automated and deflected and answered correctly. So we flip it. We go from loads of agents, so which are costly, and we go to an automated situation. Just want to touch on that for a second. I kind of almost paused then for a second saying costly. Agents are costly. I think in some organizations, you know, there will be potentially an agenda to reduce headcount, but I think in the vast majority of situations, I don't think I'm being naive, but I think that people will want to improve agent capability, I want the word productivity, agent productivity and happiness in that role. So by not having this huge queue of people and backlog of work and awful situation trying to get the data you need and the answers you get from multiple systems, hopefully the people who are working deliver great customer service, add value back to the business, and also are able to deal with the complex. And there will always be the need for speaking to agents and getting through to, to someone, and that human to human interaction. Don't think we're going to be in a fully automated contact center situation for all businesses. It might be for some who take a view that they can drastically reduce headcount. But I think the positives here are that we drive self-service where we've got a question as a customer and we want it answered quickly, and where we do need to speak to an agent, they're empowered to do their job and do that effectively. So yeah, but as a concept, this slide I thought really for me just kind of made sense, showing how we're flipping from the kind of traditional live agent to the automation. This was where are we going from? We're going from this one. So I was talking about self-service options here. And this was for myself, and again for clients that I work with, just trying to pull together, the range of omnichannel. This is very self-explanatory. I'm not going to read it all out. You have got a situation where, email can be used in standalone mode at the moment. Some of these things will change, I'm sure, as the roadmap progresses. Microsoft Teams, being used in digital chat as well. So yeah, an aggressive roadmap, which I'll come on to actually towards the end. Agent Assist. So, laboring the point a little bit, but AI-powered unified routing, finding the right agent in the right channel every time. These are really important concepts. We don't just we're not just layering AI for the sake of it. We're trying to really drive improvements for the way that agents work, helping them work smarter, improving the outcome. So Copilot sitting alongside them as their personal assistant, essentially, but leveraging customer data. Again, data governance, super important, where you are pulling through from CRMs and other databases and knowledge bases, etc. But yeah, it's the concept here is that the agent themselves can self-serve and be provided with suggestions based on the customer's intent, sentiment analysis, the actual topic that the customer's talked about, whether it's through a chatbot initially or it's through the IVR. So giving them suggested content to be able to share the best content, the best outcome to be able to share with the customer. So yeah, agent assisted. Something on there just to pull out, probably not talked about it too much. I talked about it in the Dataverse when we were looking at the layers, but yeah, agents being able to have that 360-degree view of customers. So what's transpired before, what's the history of that customer contacting that organization, maybe spending patterns. It could be to be able to provide suggestions on what they might be interested in a kind of B2C situation or B2B situation. But yeah, it's a spending situation. What can we recommend to them to help if they're looking to make additional purchases? Equally, if there's been a history of interactions with them, it could be in a social situation with a government agency or with a local regional government, where they're talking to them about social issues. It could be to do with housing, for example. But for the agent to be able to see everything that's transpired before, so that frustration on the part of the customer is kind of lost because the agent understands what's happened so far. Might not be them that they've spoken to before or interacted with before. So it's important that that context is all pulled through. This is the operations bit, those 3 bits I was talking about. So but driving efficiency and reducing costs on the Microsoft slide where, so this is where, kind of we're really talking about being able to look at the operation of the contact center, being able to measure it, be able to report on it, look at emerging trends. What's the impact of Copilot? Are certain agents leveraging Copilot better than other agents? In which case it could be a situation that you can address through training needs analysis, and deliver some training for a group of customer service representatives to enable them to deliver their job and get better satisfaction from it by leveraging Copilot more. Some basic forecasting and schedulings built into the product, as well as integration with existing WFM, workforce management or workforce engagement management solutions. I'm going to call out Calabrio there as a platform that I've worked with myself. So yeah. Got another visual coming up. Here we go. Oh, it's going to go in animation. So I was trying to just think about, this isn't necessarily a typical customer journey, but I was talking about customer service being broken. So let's reimagine it. That stuck in my mind one evening. So I thought I'd try and put it into a visual. So it's pulling together, channel of choice, how and when the customer wants to contact a customer. In doing so, initially, probably, through self-service, the classification of that communication through capturing sentiment analysis, predicting effort, identifying the right skills for the next step to get to an agent. So the automated classification for unified routing. The assessment of that then based on skills, utilization, scheduling, presence, capacity, queues, and custom parameters. So a whole range of things that the platform can look at before it then offloads to the agent. So hopefully it's made a really well-informed decision and it's going to get the customer to the right agent to help. When it gets there, the agent has got the 360-degree view, can see the customer's journey through the platform to where they are now, and can leverage Copilot. The operational bit that we were just touching on there, so the supervisors and the service leaders, they could be in a range of job roles or job titles in an organization, but the management responsible for customer service, customer experience, contact center manager, for example, or it could be a customer service director. For the supervisors, being able to monitor in real time, what's going on in the platform, gain some insights from the recordings that are taking place of interactions, and to be able to support the workforce, so with things like listen, whisper, barge where necessary, just to be able to be that extra layer of support beyond Copilot for agents, something that's commonplace, in contact centers, but does the technology really back up the intent really for the organization as to how supervisors are going to support agents. And then for service leaders or whoever is really looking at the kind of performance element, perhaps over a period of time, rather than it just being day to day, but then service leaders can look at both real time and historical reporting. So they can look at trends, they can look at scheduling, they can look at whether they need to increase workforce, whether people can be dedicated to maybe project work alongside their day-to-day contact center work, so they can try and drive overall improvements in the customer service function. I talked about the release planner. I don't know if any of you have looked at it. It's been pretty busy and it's still pretty busy. You can see I'm struggling to get it onto a single slide now at the moment. So we've had a lot of things drop into the try now. There's an official release planner that's obviously there, and you can filter and look at that. If you want an easy way to see it and you like this visual, then connect with me on LinkedIn and I push it out on a monthly basis. So there'll be another one going out for February. So I'm just trying to show some of the things that are coming up over the next few months. So they'll be coming soon normally, but the try it now, and then month by month, we look at some of the features that are dropping in. And I suspect over the next couple of months, we'll see quite a few additions. Everything's been dropping in. I don't think I've seen anything pushed out. I think I've mostly seen things come forward, but really overall to take away, it's an aggressive roadmap and they are developing the product at a rate of knots in the same way as we've got used to features and functionality dropping into Teams and some of the modern work applications. Then absolutely Microsoft are full steam ahead with the product. So we'll just see more and more rich features get added to the product this year, which is great. not going to go into loads of detail here, but all I want to kind of impress on you is just, again, why do we need another platform? What is really, what's the, like with Copilot, we're trying to measure it. Okay, we're trying to show the impact, and we know the figures are good. We know that AI is having a positive effect on individuals and on organizations. And in the same way, these figures are taken from Microsoft's own customer service function. So they are customer zero, essentially, for the product, and, used it themselves for over 2 years. So where there's criticism that what do Microsoft know about customer service and contact center? Well, I think they know quite a lot because they've been running it at scale. So you can see the figures on here. It's having a huge impact in terms of time saving and experience, reducing misroutes. For FCR, first call resolution, has kind of increased, average handling times. A lot of the buzzword bingo around KPIs and stats then for contact centers, it's having a really positive impact. And I think we'll just see more and more customer success stories. There's already been some. I've got a slide I'm going to come up to shortly, which is going to show some of the names. But I think the adoption of it, the interest in the product in the marketplace that I've seen since GA, just means we're going to see a much, much wider install base over the next 12 months. So why choose it? Just to get kind of in your head, I talked about, where for me, I think where customers can run headless, it can run in isolation, but I think where customers have got data that can be leveraged and pulled through to drive a much improved customer journey, and have that context of those interactions being pulled through rather than an agent finding it in different systems, and that's a hugely important feature of this platform. And Copilot, as we've said, Copilot and Copilots are prolific nowadays, but it's infused in the product, and it's only going to improve in the way that it delivers functionality. We've got some of the autonomous agents that were announced in October then, with case management and knowledge management, case intent and knowledge management, that are going to be on general release hopefully later on in this year. They'll have a big impact. It can be extended then into other systems, so the integration capabilities beyond the Microsoft stack mean that it's applicable to a wide range of customers. It's going to drive cost savings, absolutely. Time and money, time and resource, time and money. It's going to have a huge impact, and in a lot of areas, just trying to think some of the key verticals I work with, like in public sector, particularly local regional government, housing associations. A lot of organisations, public sector or not, to be honest, are looking for cost savings, but particularly with central local government, and where it is pivotal for them to be able to save time and money. This product's absolutely going to succeed. And I think the flip side into the private sector, in verticals like finance and services and insurance, FS&I, manufacturing, we're seeing sort of trailblazers then with organizations who are willing to invest because they know it's going to be a differentiator for them against their clients. So, but down the bottom, something I've not gone into a lot of detail really. I've mentioned it a couple of times with things like data governance, but yeah, knowing that it's built on the Microsoft stack, and security and privacy and compliance is part and parcel of that. Is reassuring for partners, but more so for customers. Next slide then is just, I've pulled together some of the customer success stories. Some of these have been where customers have built on from D365 customer service into the contact center, and some of them have been where they've deployed D365 contact center themselves. So you can see the names there. Virgin Money, well known in the UK, a global brand, KPMG. Vilo's customer we actually know as an organisation as well. So yeah, there we go. And coming to the end of my session, then the big stack. So think what you need to understand, take away really from the session, is that we've got a really rich customer service platform. It's not just another CCaaS platform. It's something that's come into the market to disrupt, but also, as I've said a few times on this session, I think where data is really, customer data is available within an organization, you can leverage that. That's going to be important. It's not a single SKU. Sorry, it is a single SKU in terms of being able to purchase it. I mean, it's not just one product though. It's been built on a heritage of Microsoft pulling together some of the technologies that they work with. So if you can remember the burger, then that might help you remember that we've got Azure Cloud, we've got the Dataverse, we've got Power Platform, we've got Copilot, we've got Copilot Studio, and we've got the channels, and all of that pulled together. Some of the glue behind the background we've got with Azure Communication Services. So again, they've been part and parcel of the stack for some time, but that's some of the inner workings that's powering the product. I'm just looking at time. I think I'm a little bit ahead of time, but I'm just going to end on this. So this isn't a promotion for Simity. I work for Simity, as I've said. It's more just about, if you are interested in learning more, if you want to see content on a regular basis, then please connect with me on LinkedIn. I am a huge product evangelist for the product. I've worked in contact center ecosystems, then the Microsoft ecosystems for a long time, but I'm trying to put out, and I've almost succeeded in putting out, I think, daily content, which is a bit of a challenge for me, but do most of it outside of my day job. I'll produce content on an evening, and every now and again I come up with one of the visuals which you might find interesting, might resonate with you. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. Absolutely happy also to take questions through LinkedIn or an email. I do probably get 2 or 3 questions or contacts a day from people. That's great. I'm absolutely up for just sharing knowledge or insights on how we're seeing success as a partner, etc. And on the right hand side, again on LinkedIn, just as the product went to GA, I'd been part of LinkedIn groups, user groups, but I just thought, I wonder if I can create a new one. So I did, and I think it's the only one for the product. That might change. I don't mind. It can be a competitor in the market, but we've got about 1,100 members now. I think this morning I looked, and essentially I'm reposting my content into that group, so it gets dropped in. But I also, I'm being agnostic. If I see other consultants around the world sharing great stuff, Peter Reuter, I'm going to call out because he's always posting interesting stuff. And then people at Microsoft like Seb Reed, Marcus Schmidt, Alan Ross, Keith O'Vera. There's some amazing people in Microsoft who are helping drive the innovation in this product. And where I see content from them, then I'll share it. So if you're looking for a channel that's going to be a kind of source of, I want to go and find the latest on the product, go and look there. I've got some pinned posts on my LinkedIn profile with some resources as well, so they might be a quick start for you to be able to learn. But by all means, drop me a line and I'll try and help. So there's the group number there, but if you search for Dynamics 365 Contact Center Professionals, that should pull it up, or just follow me and message and I'll point you in the right direction. Raz, I'm a bit ahead of time, but that might help or it might not. But is that okay?
Thank you, Chris. No, that's perfect. You've ended at perfect time. Thank you so much. The reason why, Chris, is because the beginning of this event up till now, we've been covering Dynamics 365 customer service, right?
Yep.
And now there are many questions for you because because we've shown the attendees how to configure customer service. And the next question that someone's asked is, well, how do we configure contact center workspace?
Okay. I'm going to, if you should be able to add it in. So you'll need to, there's a couple of different options. You've got the ability I think we talked about the trial license on the last session. I think that was mentioned. So you could have a trial license, but otherwise you need to procure a SKU. Or also, as of yesterday, for partners, the sandbox and a licensing benefit has been added to partner benefits. So if you're not, if you're not the person responsible for partner alignment and the relationship with Microsoft and Partner Center, etc., certainly reach out to them, because you will find, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, I'm really sorry, but there have been a range of licenses added in. So you should be able to select those and add, and the workspace should appear for you. If anyone's struggling with that, drop me a line and I can go into some more detail offline. But yeah.
So Chris, just to add to that, someone else has also asked, Meg has asked, when he said it can be used in isolation, don't you still need a Dynamics 365 for it?
No, it is a standalone SKU. It can be used just purely as the one SKU. So there are options. There are options for add-on, as you'd expect in any Dynamics product. So if you've got, you can purchase it as a digital only, you can purchase it as a voice only, and you can purchase it as a combination of those two. You can purchase it in combination with customer service. So customer service premium is the combination of customer service and Dynamics Contact Center, the full SKU. So there are various different options, but it can just be used as a headless contact center. You don't already have to have had an investment in a D365 SKU.
So Absatel is asking, is it possible to acquire the PDFs used for this presentation so that we could study with them personally?
Yeah, no problem. Well, I can provide it. I can provide it, Raz, to you if you wish, but I'll PDF it and I'll share it on LinkedIn as well as a post, hopefully tomorrow. I can probably do it on the way back from London, back home tonight. So yeah, I'm quite happy. I don't think there's anything in here that I can't share. So yeah, absolutely. I'll PDF it and you'll be able to download it from LinkedIn. So that's possibly an easy way for people to connect with, or an option for people to connect with me. So yeah.
There's lots of great feedback, by the way, Chris. You've got lots of great feedback here.
I know. That's great. It's really good. I tell you what, like I've done quite a few webinars, and people will listen. I've done a 101, and actually another one that might be of interest. So again, this isn't so much a promo for. Oh, apologies, my laptop. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my laptop's just trying to open some windows and struggling. On the 28th, if you either look at my profile on LinkedIn, or if you go to Simity, so the web address is there, simity.com. The reason I'm pointing you to that is there's a webinar that I'm doing with Alex Hayward, who's a technical specialist from business applications in the UK. And we're doing a deeper dive. So it'll take it on from this content. So quite timely, really. And we're also going to be doing some demo stuff in that. So it's not just for clients. I think we've got 150, 160 signups. So that's a good way for you to be able to kind of step on from this product. So please have a look at that. But yeah, it's great to get some good feedback, Raz, always as a speaker.
Okay, so there are some other questions in here. I'm just wondering if we've got time to answer them. We may have a couple more questions. So there is one question regarding Hilda. Hilda's asking a question. What are critical customers' needs for implementing a contact center? So Hilda, we've been covering that throughout the day today. But Chris, if you want to just mention a few, it seems like Chris, Hilda, you've missed them.
Yeah, that's fine. I think just from my wider experience of working with customers on CCaaS, but also relevant to this product, is this shouldn't just be a lift and shift. When you're talking to a customer and gathering requirements, or maybe they've put together requirements and they're thinking about, just very simplistic or simplistic kind of contact center functionality, I think the important thing to consider with Dynamics 365 is one, I've said it multiple times, probably too many times, but it's having those data sources to be able to pull it in. and what you're going to do with that information, the data governance of it, whether it's a data cleanse and categorization. So security and data is really important conversation to have with an organization, whether it's small or large or enterprise or whatever. I think also being able to map out, it shouldn't just be, we already do this in the platform. How can you just do it in the platform? Can we have a more modern platform, but do it again? This is really an opportunity to look at that customer journey and customer experience. I think we're going to be talking more about customer experience and less about contact center and CCaaS over the next year or so. So I would say customer journey and security are two call outs. There's many other topics you need to cover when you're implementing a contact center, but talking to customers, those are two topics that would be top of my mind.
Well, thank you once again, Chris, for joining us and introducing the contact center.
Pleasure.
And thanks for sharing the information and your contact details in the chat so that the community can keep in touch with you.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of the boot camp.
Thank you.
Cheers, thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, so now we're perfectly queued on time for none other. So many of you had questions regarding how do you configure contact center. Well, just on cue is none other than Thomas Sandsor. Hello there, Thomas.
Hey, can you hear?
Hey, Thomas. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. My camera on here. Everything was disabled on the way in, so I was just uncertain if you can hear well and all those things. But that's great.
Yeah. We can see you now. Yeah. So, Thomas, are you able to try and share your screen? And whilst you try to share your screen, I just want to let the community know it's a huge pleasure to have Thomas presenting today. So our community, as you know, it is a technical community. Many of you people here are looking to see the system and understand how it works and the configurations. Thomas is that guy. He's someone who's heavily involved in the trenches, and he's going to be doing that today for you. A lot of us all are new to contact center, right? We've all got experience with customer service, but contact center is definitely something which is new for most of us here. So without further ado, Thomas, over to you. Round of applause, everyone, for Thomas.
Thank you for the introduction. Kind of hard to follow up on that, Lee, because it says here in the title, it's my journey from noob, which I really do feel that I am at the starting part of this journey for contact center. I mean, I still call it omnichannel, and people from Microsoft are probably going to be mad about that. But to my defense, as long as it's still in the configuration, it says omnichannel here and there, I will still call it omnichannel. It's like Dynamics Marketing, Customer Insight Journeys. Anyway, I will try not to be so PowerPointy, and I hope that people are in for a session where I will try to speak my mind, because there are some things I think are really cool and some things are a bit confusing. And when getting started, at least I'll share my perspectives on where I got my aha moments. Like it took a while before I really understood what was going on. But yeah, I'll do a bit of PowerPoint to begin with, and then we're just going to jump right into it. I don't necessarily have 100% certainty that everything that I will show is going to work, but it is a live system I have in our test environment, our production test environment, if it makes sense, the company I work with. Maybe we even can test it out and see, like, if we bombard it with a few, calls, chats, stuff like that. See where we end up. I am sharing my full screen right now, so hopefully we will see everything later on and not have some issues with that. But yeah, bear with me while we go through this. I'm just going to need to, clicks could be able, there we go. All right, so my name is Thomas Sandsor. I also go by the name of the CRM Keeper. I'll get into that quickly for the people that do not know me. I am head of the Dynamics and Power Platform at a company in Norway called Point Taken. I do a bit of blogging and also on YouTube and a couple other social channels. And yeah, I guess I still see that I'm a Twitter person here. Might consider going over to the blue stuff. I might need to update this slide. But the reason why I'm a keeper is because this is kind of more my second career. My first career was actually a soccer player. Big parts of me miss this and still want to go back, but I think, if I'm getting older, lots of years in the soccer business have done my toll. Started out with the normal soccer, which you see on the bottom here, and this is my childhood club, which is kind of cool. Got to experience a few great games. Up on the left corner is what we call futsal, indoor soccer. Played on the national team there also. And the really weird one for a Norwegian country to be representing is as a beach soccer. Weirdly enough, where we basically have snow and cold all the time, we do have a beach soccer team. So I've been playing on the national team there also for a while. That's been fun. Travel around the world, and yeah, sports has really been a big part of my life, and treated it out with technology. All right. So contact center, I'm going to start off with a lot of Microsoft slides. I will talk about, you've probably heard a lot from the people before me. They are amazing. They are far better than what I am in how to present contact center, and probably have more experience than what I do. My goal is not to be the best at this yet. I'm getting there, but this is my journey from anyone really wanting to start. And a bit, I think what we'll also catch on to here is maybe some cultural differences, whereas this product, does it belong, etc. As I said, I come from Norway, population almost 6 million people, or 5 to 6 million people. It's not a lot. We're a small country. I do notice that we are definitely not the same as America. And for people that represent Europe, I think we can have the same feeling a lot of times. When you see stuff from in the US, it's kind of like, okay, how does that relate to where I come from? So, but what we all can agree on is what we do feel in the everyday life. And it's nothing to do with Microsoft. I mean, if you have a local bank, if you have a local phone service or company, anyone you need to contact, we all at times feel like, okay, this could have been better. Either because we're sending an email somewhere and then calling later, and the person I'm calling has no idea that I sent the email, or maybe I did something through a web page and they have no idea what I'm doing the other place. So the disconnected experiences, I'm pretty sure that we all can agree. I mean, to the extent of whether or not it's this percentage on the right side, again, these are Microsoft slides, so this is marketing. But where we do see, and I think we all can agree, is that the lack of effective self-service is absolutely present. I mean, that's certainly something we can all feel, because most of the time we just want to get things done. But if the self-service is so hard, we're going to end up picking up the phone. At least I am. My generation, so I'm 39 and a half, soon to be 40 years old. I'm still of that generation where I call people. I hate sending emails because they take too long. I call people. So that's my generation, I guess, and older. We tend to call. Newer generations, they for some reason hate calling. Yeah, that's a whole different story. So that's also channel discussion we can have a bit later. If there are questions during the, when we start going over to stuff, I don't know if you're watching this or whatever, just let me know and I'll stop and we can discuss and talk about these things. Yeah, but what we were talking about, this poor service experience and why we all feel it is because many channels does not necessarily mean a better service. Because it can also be very confusing. I mean, we keep talking about always like, what does the customer feel here on the left side? Okay, maybe they think it's cool that many channels are available. But on the right side, this is who we are actually creating solutions for most of the time, the agents. And having a lot of solutions, like best of breed. So that this was the best one for the live chat, and this was the best one for email, and this was the best one for telephony. I mean, they seldom come like bundle into one solution. And that's kind of what omnichannel is really trying to solve. Sorry, contact center is trying to solve here best way. But I mean, we know big companies that we contact today in your B2C, anything where you have a customer relation, we know of this. We feel the pain. And interestingly enough, what we've seen over the years is that a lot of the bigger companies have actually started to exclude a few of these channels. Channels that before were like the main backbone of our customer service are no longer really representative. One thing you don't really see much more is actually, at least I can say in Norway, is this over here on the left side, the social channels. Because social channels exposed companies in different ways that they weren't exposed before. Being present on Facebook with live discussion boards, it's not a great thing, necessarily. Unless you have excellent customer service all the time. And we got to be real about this. I mean, maybe it's not the smartest thing to be heavily invested in always. But I mean, everything is dependent on what kind of company you are and what kind of team you have to take in all of this over. So yeah, we all know this siloed stuff. And then, of course, contact center here is like we were talking about. Imagine a contact center where, of course, customer get consistent personalized service across all channels. I mean, this is utopia. And I'm not saying that contact center will give you that out of the box directly. I mean, this is going to be a process which you've probably heard from lots of the other people here. You don't just flip a switch and hope everything is ready, because even though the technology is ready, we still actually have to maybe change the organization a bit. And you're probably going to notice throughout this presentation, I don't mention AI too much. I'll probably get into the details why. But I try to focus on what I see right now, which gives direct value, not necessarily where we could be as much. Yeah. But what definitely we can talk about, like in the contact center, what we're really trying to do. And I do think we're heading really the right way here, and lots of these things are implemented already, is that the customer should feel that whatever channel they are in, we are connecting to something. And if that happens to be the chatbots and IVR, which makes, or the voice bots, which makes perfect sense, we will possibly have a bit of case deflection, meaning that we actually don't need to bother the agents. Maybe we can actually do some help, and the help is good enough. And that's what's been the hard part. If we look past, for former years when we've been looking into omnichannel and any type of contact center, really, it's the fact that all automated solutions, and I'm not even calling them AI, I'm calling them automated solutions, because it's basically like trying to create some type of automation to defer things from the agents. That's kind of like the quality hasn't been good enough, so people aren't necessarily very happy with it. So we end up in a situation where I kind of do sometimes. It's like when I call, the reason I call is because I know I will most likely get a hold of someone who I can speak to quicker. That's the reason why I like my phone, so I can call. Anyway, skipping through here. Okay, so there is a slide here on generative AI. I'm going to be a bit careful on saying too many things here. I'm one of those who hasn't really hit the AI train yet, even though it's like an all aboard. Co-pilots everywhere. Some of them are good, not all. Again, these are standardized slides. I'm going to skip through a few of them a bit quick because we're getting over to the more thing where we can click around the solution, see and feel this thing. I do find this one a bit interesting, though, just because I feel it's like something we've seen before in the CRM world, typically, where you had evolving services around your products, because whatever you are today is not necessarily where you are in 1 or 2 years. So you evolve the product together with your customers. And say, okay, it's cool. But yeah, I'm going to skip this one because what the other people have probably been talking about is why I heard the name mentioned right before the CCaaS, like contact center as a service, or I think it's what it's called. Absolutely interesting. I'm a dynamics consultant. This doesn't really tailor to me. For people that actually deliver anything within Salesforce, really cool. I know Tricia is going to hate me for saying this, but I personally don't think this is any cool because I don't work with Salesforce. It's my greatest competitor, so I tend not to touch it at all. I do everything I can to stay away from it. But it is interesting, though, that we are creating solutions. When I say we, Microsoft, that creating at one place is actually available more places. So that being said, having this connected to ServiceNow, Salesforce Dynamics is technically just a big benefit for everyone if the other providers here are also going to start using this. It only means more users, more code, more value, et cetera, et cetera. So I see the bigger picture. Great. Personally, I would never touch Salesforce, but that's a whole different story. All right, this is a movie. I will send you the slide deck because I'm not going to play a movie over Teams. I doubt that that is going to work well. I can provide the slide deck later on, so that's not a problem. You can view the movie. It's a really cool Microsoft marketing movie about contact center. You might have already seen it today. But this one I actually quite find interesting because engaging customers in their channel of choice. You can just throw in some comments here if you want to, and I'll try to see them once I go out of the PowerPoint mode where I can't really see anything. But it's interesting to see what people consider to be a relevant channel, because maybe it is because who I am and what age I am and also what country I come from. I don't necessarily see all of the channels that someone else would see. Like Norway example, we are not very heavily invested in things like WhatsApp. But I know when I go to Asia or other countries like that, it's like, oh, you're not using WhatsApp for this and that. And all companies, they even have their own WhatsApp business and stuff like that. I mean, it's not very common in Norway. I'm not saying that it's not going to come here, but it's not common. We have been going through a phase where like many people were available on social media and have now been pulling back from social media, basically because there is so much negative comments that are hard to answer in a correct way because they're taken out of context. So we're seeing that where we're going back to like, yes, we have email, we have phone, and we have chat. So those three are typical channels, but we're talking chat on web page. While setting up the contact center, I actually had an epiphany because I hadn't really thought about that, and that is chat is not chat. There are different types of chat, and we'll get into that soon because my mind was just like thinking, well, chat is chat. It doesn't really matter if I'm chatting on a web page or if I'm chatting on my phone. It's the same thing. I'm just entering a chat dialogue. It really is actually quite different. But yeah, it's a journey all through everything. But what I do think we all can agree is that AI is, if it's not necessarily there yet, because right now, I mean, when I comment AI, and please just, okay, I understand that we all have different opinions on things, and that's fine. But what I see a lot of in AI, which people are throwing out, this is just AI being amazing. Well, it's kind of, there's some AI to it, but at the most of the time, it's actually just, you've done a bit of automation. And that automation was kind of there even before the age of AI, really. So it's like, yes, you've invested a lot more in your knowledge-based articles, and yeah, maybe you can do bits more searches into these articles and get good answers. That's fair. But you could still also, you know, argue the fact that you could still have your search for knowledge-based articles, and if they were indexed well, you would actually get the answer you were looking for anyway. The question is just that, would the knowledge-based articles be provided in the channel you are in such a way that you could easily get an answer to your question? And being able to sort of query your data in Dataverse, I use Dataverse for the most of the time, or whatever database you use, it's not necessarily just the, you know, thumbs up for AI. I mean, it's code. We could do it before. It's just maybe like people seem to think that right now AI is changing all of that, but honestly, it's like people are looking into the processes how to do this more effectively. So we will see a lot more changes with AI in the future. Absolutely, autonomous bots and all those things, but it'll be cool. But right now, I'm scaling a bit down the whoop-de-woo on the AI, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but I call it is super AI positive. It's a good thing that you are positive. I'm just gonna hold back for a little bit. This one I actually find interesting. So push from Microsoft. Okay, first off, if you don't understand what IVR is, I did not. I had no idea why. I mean, and when I say Tricia's name, I think it's just fun because Tricia and I, we represent different countries and very different companies. And she teaches me so much. And it's really fun to sort of listen to because she represents Avanade, and which is a huge international company, plus also the UK, meaning larger customers than what we have in Norway. And the mentality is like when she introduced me to IVR, where this was like so revolutionary, I was like trying to wrap my head, what is really IVR and setting this up? Because I'm used to in Norway, when we call into, I'm 95+% of whatever I call into of our B2C services, anything public or any banking or stuff like that. You dial 1 to get to sales. You dial 2 to go over here. To begin with, before contact center in omnichannel, which is not that long ago, that wasn't really possible to configure. You could program it somehow. It was not easy. You had to go into this Copilot Studio designer mode or whatever, PVA designer mode at that time. It was really hard. I tried. I did not understand what I was doing. I'm not saying that I'm a super tech savvy person, but I mean, I would say I'm a medium plus. I couldn't get it working. So she's pushing on to me and saying, well, the world is going to towards IVR, which I thought was interesting because I didn't see a single company in Norway investing in IVR. And back again, what is IVR? it's when you basically ask, who do you want to talk to? And I'm supposed to respond, I want to talk to someone about my phone being broken, or someone is actually tell the service, my credit card has been overdrawn, or I don't know, something like that. And it's supposed to understand my dialogue and put me into contact with the correct people. But my experience so far, and it could also be because of the Norwegian language, give that, okay, I mean, we speak Norwegian in Norway. We do not speak English. So maybe the understanding of the languages is a bit bad, because like you say, oh, I want to talk to banking. All right, I'm setting you over to insurance. It's like, no, I want to talk to banking. All right, insurance is on the line. It's like, who hasn't sort of been in the situation where they're trying to talk to a bot and you basically get useless responses back? I certainly have. So I was kind of curious why she kept pushing on that. And I think I've concluded a bit that there must be cultural differences. I get where this is cool, but if you actually look at, I think the voice issues here could be the problem, because in the US, I'm sure if the language models are great and the transcription is awesome, I get it. But even if we look at the Teams transcription in Norwegian, it is a bit off sometimes, more than it is in English. And it could also be because of dialects, etc. It's hard to tell. But yeah, so IVR for me, I thought was interesting. It's a huge push from Microsoft. They didn't really focus on what I would say was the base, dial 1 for this, dial 2 for that to begin with. It came later on as a configurable option. And I also sort of found this kind of interesting. Like Gartner survey finds it's like 64% of customers would prefer that companies did not use AI for customer service. So it's going to be an interesting story for Microsoft to provide to the customers, saying that we are an AI first in pretty much everything we do, and prove to them that our AI is actually going to give back responses far better than what you've ever had. And I'm not saying that they're not going to do that. I think we can, absolutely. Because, and here's the because, when we were talking earlier on where there are so many best of breed solutions and you try to integrate them somehow by APIs, the difference when we go for contact centers is probably not best of breed telephony or chat or other channels, but it is possibly good enough. And if it's good enough, we have the other benefit of everything being surrounded, everything is surrounding Dataverse. And once we have that, we have access to tons of information about you as a person. So then we basically have to just figure out how to solve in smart ways, knowing that you are who you're saying you are. So I can actually, in a trustworthy way, provide that information. This is what we know about you. It might be nuanced types of voicing, like I can recognize your voice, possibly. That's could be scary also for hacking reasons. There are other solutions you could provide with like one-time passwords and stuff like that. So, but I'm pretty certain we'll figure this out. Security's never really been a thing that Microsoft says, we don't care. Microsoft is super, super interested in keeping things secure, especially if it is leaking data. So we'll see where it goes. But what I do see, though, if we don't focus too much on the customer, maybe me as a customer calling some service, we'll get to some point where AI is actually great. And I feel like I'm having a conversation in Norwegian, mind you, in Norwegian with an AI bot that gives me good help. Could be. But what we absolutely could say already now is that the AI service is provided when looking through a case. And we have a conversation summary. This was just an example from our course, but similar things like this. It is obvious that we could probably help the agents coming in. Because as we know, if you look at the agent to populate, what do you call it? Again, English not being my first language, sometimes I've struggled to find some words, but any company with agents, if you look at the employees, these are not necessarily people that are hired for life. They are there. Maybe some of them are young for a period of time. You answer lots of calls. It's your introductory work, and you hopefully sort of not hopefully if you love it. Didn't mean to offend anyone on that. If you want to stay there, that's fine. But some people use that as a stepping stone to get to something else, get some work experience. That means that we have to have ways of making sure that the onboarding is great and we give them as much information as possible. And maybe if we could say that one senior resource at this current moment of time was able to handle 5 juniors that can't come in and answer phones because they all, oh, just wait a minute while I have to talk to my senior whether or not I can answer this question. If AI can help us there, so one senior can do 10 juniors instead because our AI is actually helping, that is a huge benefit. That is, again, surfacing relevant information. We could benefit it to AI, fine, but again, it's just being smart and clever about data. All right. If you're considering like investing in contact center, well, the positive thing is that Microsoft's using it. They did have another slide I've hidden here. You can have that in the slide deck. So you probably heard that also. There's probably more relevant data on this, but hopefully they will, if you feel like some things are missing in the system, hopefully they feel their own pain and they're also providing feedback to the team so that we will improve the software continuously. That's great, you know, because it's not given that Microsoft uses their own systems. I mean, everyone takes that for granted, but you got to remember, Microsoft is a huge organization, been there for many, many years. And if you think about it, Dynamics, even though it's been many years, owned by Microsoft, it's still not a very old solution compared to the company. So there's lots of legacy that has to be changed out every now and then. So yeah. All right, variety of digital social channels. Well, let's have a look into that because I'm getting to that one part. I'm going to actually have a look into hopefully it's going to work for me today, the WhatsApp channel. If I find the URL for my bots, the chat bot, I will get that, but you've probably seen it, so it's not very important. What I will do now is do a bit of testing, and we'll go into Dynamics and have a look at the calls. So again, I'm closing up to a half an hour soon. I'm going to be quick so we can have more into the system and maybe some questions if you have those. But this, okay, background. I was getting my omnichannel set up, and I was thinking, I want to do this with a Norwegian number. I want to do everything in Norwegian, because if I do everything English, it's like most things are always going to work. But I wanted to see how can I get this as local as possible, and yeah, get to know that stuff. So I provisioned in our sandbox environments omnichannel. I chose all channels, of course. Interestingly enough, it's just seeing absolutely how much stuff contact center is bringing into the solutions and files. I mean, it's pretty close to marketing in regards to a lot, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of stuff coming in. Anyway, so I was stuck with this then afterwards. I had this, it just automatically created trial number for me, which is great. So I got to test out, but I wanted to try with a Norwegian number just to see if, you know, delay was less, etc. Because calling from a Norwegian number to the US and then having going into the Norwegian dynamics again, that's kind of crossing a lot of water over the Atlantic. So I was just going to see if that made a difference. I contacted a local company called Satelo, a Norwegian company. They provide telephony services for pretty much the whole world. It's pretty simple, actually. They have an Azure Marketplace, things that you can basically just click now, get going. But they were pretty nice. They would just say, Thomas, just call us anytime. We'll help you out. I'd never done this before. I'd never really been in Azure doing things. They guided me through this whole step of Azure communication services. And I'm pretty sure that if you were there for Tricia earlier today, I think she covered many things on setting this up in ACS, Azure Communication Services. I'm not really going to touch that. They guided me through this, and I asked tons of questions, but within 30 minutes, by following these steps they had and adding, you know, to subscriptions, adding a phone number, adding to an event grid, etc., we were suddenly in the position where we had connected a Norwegian number to Dynamics, which was pretty cool. So that was the first part of my journey, being able to actually get a number into Dynamics. And I'm not going to go into the technicalities of what these things called session border controllers and Azure Communication Services, because I'm not very good at it, to be honest. For me, that is part infrastructure. But the thing is that the companies like Satelo, they know that stuff. They just say, contact us if you're uncertain. We'll help you set it up. If you do not have direct admin access, we'll work with your admin to get it set up. But again, 30 minutes, I had a Norwegian number. was connected to my Azure Communication Services locally and into Omnichannel, which I thought was honestly a bit cool. It's just getting the first dial tone into your own solution. It just seems a bit unreal the first time you do it, but it was, yeah, it was fun. All right, so that was the end of my PowerPoint deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna currently actually hosting a hackathon here in Oslo called the ACDC. So this is where we're actually located. I'm in a hotel right now, and we're basically creating lots of cool stuff. See if we get into that later. Let's see here. What could I open correctly? Let's see here. That would be this one. Here we go. Customer Service Workspace. Before I go there, I will go to the Admin Center, the Customer Service Admin Center. All right, so I'm at a place. If there are any comments in Teams right here when we're going to view stuff, just let me know. I'm just going to say a few things that got me on a bit of a aha, because phone and Copilot Studio, I've been trying to sort of figure out the connection there to begin with, even though people have been telling me this is what it is, and I'm like, nod, and it's like, yeah, sure. It took me a while before I really understood what was going on. So first of all, we got to be understanding a few things. We have queues, obviously. I'm not going to go into very details about the queues. I'm going to look more into the work streams. And we're going to look into these advanced queues. So I had to set up a queue that was voice. And I just chose one for voice because I was going to have some sales and I was going to have some customer service. And once I'd set up this queue, I basically add a user saying like who can access or what resources are available for this queue. That's how I figured it out, or how I read the situation. Also, you got to do opening hours, like when are you open? And this is pretty much a 24/7 open all the time. This could actually be the opposite. I'll tell you why later, but it's because I wanted to try a different few things. Either I'm open 24/7 or I'm closed 24/7 because I wanted to try voicemail. So we'll see that soon. But then it's like that itself doesn't really mean anything. This is a part of configuration where you're saying that I have a queue. The main thing that was a bit hard to understand is that you have work streams. And you have to create a work stream of type voice. That's the first one, if you want to go for voice. So this is what I started out with. And once I got into this, it's kind of, okay, I got my number connected because I did here add a voice channel up here. I got my number connected, which you're seeing here. Again, yeah, you could call that number right now, but please don't, because it's going to stop some of this demo. But it's an active number. We can call it a bit later if it's okay with you guys. But to my understanding, what happens here now? When you call this number and you've connected a bot, which you do down here. If you start off here and say you want to actually connect it, this is a remove bot. If you do add bot here, it's going to open up Copilot Studio. And that's like, okay. But what happens is that it's, okay, so you're calling first, it's connecting to your Azure Communication Services. Your Azure Communication Services is connecting to your Omnichannel instance. Your work stream is telling then the service to contact this voice chatbot you have. And then it connects to your bots in Copilot Studio. So you have to learn Copilot Studio if you want to do this stuff, really. I mean, that's where you get the great benefit. And so this was all very new to me. It took a while before I was able to connect the dots here. So none of this is so far anything to do with the agents actually receiving that phone call. I'm just going to double check that I don't have any phone calls coming in. That's perfect. That means nobody's called me so far. That's good. Anyway, now I'm just going to jump over to the first issues that I had with Copilot Studio, because I mean, again, I hadn't really played around with that a lot. I am when I say dynamic CRM consultant, I do like everyday dynamic CRM things. It's like when I touch peripheral technology, but it's like Copilot Studio doesn't necessarily always give me added value. Yet, I understand. So it's kind of like I was also learning Copilot Studio while learning Omnichannel. contact center. So again, what's the first thing? Again, this is a bit in Norwegian, so you just have to bear with me. But within topics, those are the first things you need to understand. A topic, you have both few things. You have system topics and custom topics. A system topic, we have here conversation start. That's what it says in Norwegian. Conversation start. That's the first thing that gets called from contact center, from Dynamics, really. It's starting this flow. So the first thing I do, and this was really interesting, first thing I do is, welcome to point taken. Please hold while we are trying to collect your profile, because I wanted to try a bit of Power Automate connected to this, because why not? But the fact that you see these breakpoints here, that was an epiphany for me to begin with. So I'm not sure if it's better in English than Norwegian. So far, I've actually just tried Norwegian because I didn't have time to try the English. It is super phonetical, meaning that if I did not have breakpoints here for pauses in how I speak, it is seriously a computer. It sounds like a computer from like 10 years, 20 years back in time, when you basically had your first text-to-voice speeches. It sounds terrible. It doesn't understand that even if I put a period behind this, it doesn't make any sense or a difference. So, but once you start learning that you can do these tags here, and I think they're these things, you can do emphasis or break or stuff like that. You can even play off pre-recorded audio. So I know Neil Parkhurst has blogged about that. Actually, not stupid at all. In some cases, if you want to be really specific on how things are pronounced, pre-record an audio file, put it on your web page. It's going to go here so you can see. And it says here the source URL. You basically just have to provide it, provide the URL to your MP3 file or VOV or whatever you want. It will actually play off that file, voice recording. That is something I've considered in my demo, just to make sure that we have a crisp voice, maybe even considering using some AI crisp voices that are really nice, even in Norwegian, just to sort of have the feeling that welcome to point taken, instead of having the, I don't know if we call it the old movie, HAL 3000 or whatever that robot was called. I can't remember. Anyway, so first of all, I have a check here to begin with. And it's basically just to check, is this a phone call or not? Because if it is a phone call, for this bot, I did a voice bot, just FYI. I'm not trying to do this bot for chats and other channels. I'm doing a separate bot just for voice, because I wanted to steer what dialogue was in voice. So that's the first thing I had to think about. I get a variable saying here the customer phone number, just to pick up the number. And here I call a flow where I basically ask it with the parameter phone number, and I query Dynamics to find out if I have a contact person. So in this case, it will sort of probably, if I call in with my number, it will say, "Hi, Thomas. Thank you for calling." So that's basically what it does. So returns here. This is just a regular Power Automate action, nothing AI. Again, just regular Power Automate. And this is just when playing around. What you also learn eventually is that you have both local variables and global variables. So if you're going to use a global variable, meaning that every topic can have its own local variables. So if you're here in the topic says conversation starts, I can have a variable here that I want to use, just like Power Automate variables. But the interesting thing is that if you can also make them global by saying that they're supposed to be global. And then you can use them throughout all of your bots. So it will sort of like everywhere you call this function. So I had a few things that were set. And this one is actually quite the most important thing that I have in my system. It's called a system conversation only allowed DTMF. Also something that I picked up from the blog of, can't remember this right now, but yeah. What it does, it says that I am not going to do this bot as a voice bot, meaning I can't talk to it at all. The DTMF is like digital tone something. I can't remember what it's called. But it's when you dial 1, dial 2, or, press the pound key or whatever. That's DTMF. So I'm basically forcing the system here very early on to say, I'm only going to listen to DTMF. If you do anything else, I don't really care. You can scream to your phone. I don't care. And then I'm basically saying, bring me over to my main menu. So if we go back to the topics and look at the topics, I'm just going to leave this. So my main topics, I divided it into main menu, sales, customer service. It was just to test different things because I wanted to sort of say, even though we're talking to, this is a customer service related thing, could I also provide something fun for sales? Because everyone's talking about customer service and contact center, and that's fine. But sometimes you actually want someone for sales to contact you. And how would you do that? Well, yeah, of course you could, provide your details as a lead somewhere in the form. Not all people do. Maybe you're calling because you actually want to know something, and that could be a sales opportunity. I had to actually try different few things. But let's just go to the main menu first. Again, I'm basically saying hi, because this is a global variable that I stored. Sorry, if I open this, here we go. Hi, Thomas. Listen closely to the following alternatives. And you're going to react now. If people have been working with Copilot, you're going to already react here. The fact that I didn't use the ask a question. Ask a question function here would have given me lots of, like I can add new options here. This would be option 1, option 2, stuff like that. Oh, I do hate this UI sometimes. There we go. All of this stuff. It's the reason I didn't use this is because the phonetical version of these questions is nonsense in Norwegian. It could be okay in English. It is nonsense in Norwegian. So I dropped it out. Instead, as you see here, what I did. Oh, where did that go? Oh, here we are. Here we are. Here, I actually wrote in with a break first, okay, listen closer to the following alternatives. Break, wait, and this, strength, medium. Then I do dial 1, break, pause, because if I don't do this, it will just, dial 1, medium, it will just start talking so fast you can't get it out. So you got to work on your phonetics here. You might even have to write some words incorrectly purposely because you need them to understand the words. For sales, and do the same thing for customer service, dial 2. Then, as you can see on my topics, it is actually, I leave that. I see that we are close. Okay, we don't have that many minutes left, so I'm going to hurry up a bit here. Press 2, if I'm going to go over here for customer service. These are triggers on top here, and the triggers are actually DTMF triggers, where you can set up what key, when you press the key, this is where you enter. So if I press 2, that's when I arrive. And I have the same thing here. Welcome to customer service and stuff like that. And at the end, I will actually transfer you physically to an agent. Interestingly, you can also pass parameters. These global parameters, you can pass those here to the agent. I haven't really done that. I'm playing around with that because I wanted to have a single work stream on voice, but at least, split it out there to which individuals were receiving calls. Again, I'm just going to show you quickly the one for sales here, just because I thought that was a bit fun, just to play around with stuff. So for sales, if you contact sales, it says, welcome to sales. At this point in time, I'm actually saying, which one was this one? Input to DTMF keys. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go a bit down here. I tried this one. How do you want to contact sales? And I say, number 1, I want to leave a message or I want to talk to them directly. See, I like this one, leave a message. This is what I wanted to play around with. So if I am here and I want to leave a message, I'm actually using something called voice to text in this case. Would this be the one? Yeah, so firstly, I'm just going to, this is not interesting, but this one, I go here and I turn off. This is where I actually say, remember in the beginning of the conversation, I'm saying, I'm going to lock this down. I'm not going to do IVR. I'm going to do DTMF. I want to dial 1, dial 2. Here, I'm actually turning that off and I'm saying, I actually need to listen to you now. And I say, you now get the opportunity to describe what you want. And I'm actually storing that user response into a variable, I'm setting the back here afterwards, after I store your response, saying, I want to talk to you about a dynamic system, etc., something like that. I do the whole conversation. It stores as a string variable. I turn off the don't listen anymore, and I repeat then what I have heard in Norwegian. Again, Norwegian voice to text, not great. English, a lot better. This is what we have. This is what I heard from you. Perfect. And then I do another action, which is actually just punching in a lead into the system for sales, saying this is what the person was interested in. Now I take the phone number and everything, so you can call them back. That's a voice message for sales. See if we get it on time here, but we also have voice message for contact for customer service, but that's a whole different thing because that's actually a recording. Anyway, so if I go over to my customer service workspace here, yeah, so these are voicemails. I'm going to jump a bit quick here because I want to talk about one thing that was amazing to me because I'd never done it before. So right now I'm on my phone right here. I'm in a WhatsApp chats, and hopefully this is going to work. Hi, I need help. So I'm sending to a WhatsApp number. Of course, this being demo, come on. It would be really cool if, okay, now it says an agent is actually connected. We'll see what happens. There we go. WhatsApp. That took me actually, if I just read through a guide, it took me about 30 minutes to set up WhatsApp for the demo connection here. All right, so I accepted that, and I'm actually not 100% certain if that opens up default or not. Or actually, here we go. I was looking at the ongoing conversation dashboard. If we look into my inbox here. Okay, I want to introduce to people that are going, I'm not actually going into, because everyone's seen the web chats, right? Where you log into Power Virtual Agents. Sorry, again, I should have definitely called that Copilots. When you're into your web page, Point Taken, my company, pointtaken.com.no, and we open up a chat bubble down here, and we're starting to chat to an agent. The thing is, it is not great, and I'll tell you why. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a chat. I start off a chat in a chat bubble. I end up waiting for I don't know how many seconds, but I have attention span of goldfish. So if I don't really get a quick answer, I will jump over to something else. Sometimes I'm sitting and working on something else. Maybe someone contacts me. I received an answer, and during work, I don't necessarily have my my speakers on. That means I haven't heard a pling because I'm working with something else in an open space environment or God knows what. So someone is answering, and then it's like, okay, but I can't see that you've written back to me yet. So I'm just going to close this conversation. Then 20 minutes later, I return to the chat, and it's like, oh my God, now I got to wait in the line again for this stupid chat. That is actually not a great experience. What WhatsApp taught me, which was just like mind-blowing to me, and maybe all of you know this from before. I didn't. This is an asynchronous chat. So while your web page is a synchronous chat, meaning you actually have to have a live connection with the person sitting there, and you're chatting forwards and backwards, that is necessarily a better experience. For me, this is equally, but personal experience, of course, personal opinion, this is equally great. Because here, if I have 2 kids. If I started off something on my way home from work, I just come in the door. I need some help here because I can't find my information for my login. I know it's kind of stupid question, but I can't find my television isn't working. My kids want to watch Paw Patrol, right? So there's a full crisis here. So while I write my message, I need help. TV isn't working. Paw Patrol is down. So he's going to look through the system here asynchronously. I'm going to close my phone because I got 2 kids and they're a handful, right? I got to make sure that they're somewhat happy while we're trying to fix it. Daddy's trying to fix the problem. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. In the meanwhile, I don't have to follow that chat. That chat is asynchronous. So if I understand WhatsApp correctly, it's kind of a session for 48 hours. So as long as I respond there and here for the next 48 hours, it's an active session. But the cool thing about it is that it supports a lot of stuff. Like images really easily on your phone because it's just a WhatsApp conversation. if I were to do a screenshot here, which I don't know if you can see me doing a screenshot, and I think I can just paste that. That was actually not capable of pasting in here. Let me do pictures. I have no idea what's going to come up here. Desktop. I probably have a picture here. God knows what this will be. Logo. Okay, let's hope this isn't something bad. All right, Power Platform and beyond. That's fine. I just sent this logo here. What you're not really going to see, possibly, is the fact that I'm not really viewing my camera right now, but on my, this is a WhatsApp conversation. I'm using a blurry background. I apologize for that if you don't see anything, but yeah. This is a conversation. I'm going to answer back with a picture from my phone. Because he figured out there was something wrong somewhere, and now suddenly Paw Patrol is starting again. So we went from complete crisis to everyone being happy. Let's see, how long does that take before this sinks in? Come on. It worked. Does that come in though? I'm not sure why this image suddenly didn't come in. Maybe this has something to do with size. We'll see. Anyway, so what I just found out that this is actually quite an interesting channel. And equal, I mean, WhatsApp isn't just the only channel here. There could be other channels that are equally the type of same, but the concept of asynchronous chat is something that opened my mind a lot because I think this is pretty cool. So yeah, that was just a bit about the chats. Yeah, so this is just be going on while I can probably also then go back to my ongoing here, and I could in theory also just do a call just to see how those would work. I think it's like the call thing I haven't really focused on because I think anyone here introducing calling, we've probably all see the same thing, you know. So it's like I didn't really focus on it at all. Let's see, I'm calling in here, see where we end up. One thing
Velkommen til Point Taken.
Yeah, might not hear this though, but yeah.
Vennligst vent mens vi forsøker å hente opp din profil.
Yeah, so here I have a voice call going on.
Hei, Thomas. Lytt nøye til følgende alternativer. Tast 1. For salg. Velkommen til kundeservice.
All right, so I'm calling, I'm waiting in line, so I probably should end up here in this voice queue soon. Just gonna see here if my inbox got the picture yet, if there's some async going on here. Didn't get my picture. All right, I'll have to figure that one out. Again, it's a tested account I'm going with for WhatsApp, so we'll see. Yeah, so here I'm back again with the conversation. I'm just gonna hide that and do a mute. Oh. Yeah. And what I really haven't gotten into yet, testing well enough, is, you know, it is supposed to be Norwegian. Yeah, so now it's actually trying to do English to Norwegian. This is that makes no sense. I have no idea what it says there. It's anyway. All right, I'm close on time here, so I'm just thinking if there are other questions, I mean, or we can just stop there. If that's okay. It was just to sort of try to share a bit about my experience here, and it's been a journey. There's so much more to learn, but it's been fun really to try to figure out things about the chatbots and trying to figure out channels. Because what I see here now is the asynchronous chatting. I think that's going to be super important in the next few years, more than I understood it was now. Having synchronous chat, personally, I don't really actually think it brings value to me. Personally, I don't actually need to know that I'm getting an instant answer. But that's, again, people are different. So yeah. gonna shut up my phone.
Hello there. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, I'm having a quick look at the questions. Peter Reuter's been very busy. Thank you so much, Peter, for answering all of those questions there.
I think I see some comments here on a few things that I think I'm sorry for Peter, like something like WhatsApp being supported through ACS also. I just saw I had a guide I had to follow and stuff like that, so it's just easier going that way. Yeah, the guide from Microsoft just pointed me towards Twilio, so I kind of did WhatsApp through Twilio, but yeah, absolutely look through things through ACS. Are there many other things here I should read on top? I should go up on top, I guess.
It looks as though Peter's actually answered most, if not all, of these questions, to be honest.
All right.
So, but I think the attendees are really happy that were able to show this scenario. That was really useful for them, actually. So there is one question that Ankita just asked right now, which is, can this also be used to run outbound call campaigns?
To my experience, I would say yes, but I mean, it's depending on how you sort of set something up. I mean, you can do outbound calling here, so yes, but I would say depending on scalability here, because I mean, you see, if you've got to be honest, some of these solutions are like, if you're talking about heavy duty call centers doing like hundreds of calls each single day, you might look at other solutions because it's just so extremely intensive, and those have auto dialers that are super quick and intense. You know, like you basically have no room for rest because you're basically just dialing and dialing and dialing and dialing. Not necessarily the best fit, but if you want